For the first time in 30 years, the city of South Bend is hosting the Midwest League's Best. Welcome to the 55th annual Midwest League All-Star Game at Four Winds Field in downtown South Bend, Indiana. It has been a rainy and cool baseball season in South Bend, but tonight it is perfect sunshine and 79 degrees. Good evening, everyone. I'm Darren Pritchett. Welcome into the broadcast booth at Four Winds Field as we bring you some of the best players in the Midwest League squaring off in this Midsummer Classic. It's also very interesting. We have 8 countries represented in tonight's Midwest League All-Star Game, including the Dominican Republic. Now, when the initial rosters came out, there were 5 players born from the same hometown in this game, Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Now, one of those 5, Diego Cordero from the Peoria Chiefs, has been promoted, so he will not be here tonight. But you have Manuel Alvarez from Bowling Green, Braylon Marquez from the South Bend Cubs, Jose Soriano from Burlington, and Jeremy Pena from Quad Cities, all from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. And there is Braylon Marquez of the South Bend Cubs. MLB Pipeline lists Marquez as the number 3 overall prospect in the Chicago Cubs system, and he is the top-ranked pitcher in the Chicago Cubs system. He is a left-handed pitcher with a fastball that's clocked 95 to 98. He has an outstanding slider, and he's got a changeup that is a work in progress, but it's becoming a more effective pitch for the young man from the Dominican Republic. I mentioned 8 countries represented in the Midwest League All-Star Game. You've got the United States, Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Australia, Venezuela, Panama, Puerto Rico, and Mexico. 4 players drafted in the first round of the Major League Baseball draft are involved in this game. 2 of those from the Peoria Chiefs, the Cardinals organization, Nolan Gorman and Delvin Perez. Also, Bryce Terang from the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. He was a number 1 pick of the Milwaukee Brewers last summer. He was going to play baseball at LSU for Paul Mainieri, who used to be the Notre Dame baseball coach. And the other first-rounder, Will Benson from Lake County, an Indians first-round pick. Benson and his teammate in Lake County, Tyler Freeman, this will be the final time they will represent Lake County this year, as after tonight's game, those 2 players will be promoted to Advanced A in the Cleveland Indians system. Benson hit 22 home runs last year to lead the Midwest League. He has 18 this year, leading the Midwest League. So a lot of great talent on the field here tonight at the Midwest League All-Star Game. We introduced you to Buddy Bailey, the Eastern Division manager, and the manager of the West just took the field by home plate. That is Eric Almonte. He used to play with the New York Yankees. He's in his first season managing the Peoria Chiefs. The Peoria Chiefs affiliated with the St. Louis Cardinals. You're going to hear a lot of Bowling Green hot rods introduced in just a couple of moments. They have 8 representatives in the game, the most of any team in this Midwest League All-Star Game. It has been a spectacle the last few days. Congratulations to South Bend Cubs owner and Chicago Cubs part owner Andrew Berlin for putting together this All-Star Game. First time South Bend has hosted it in 30 years. Joe Hart, the president of the South Bend Cubs, vice president and general manager Nick Brown, Chris Hagstrom in charge of media and promotions. They have all done an amazing job putting in a lot of hours, and I mean a lot of hours. You don't want to say the last few days or weeks. This has been a long process going back months, and it has worked out perfectly. And Mother Nature has been kind to us tonight as we have bright sunshine and 79 degrees for the Midwest League All-Star Game. 9-inning game tonight here at Four Winds Field in downtown South Bend. It's also a celebration of the Ivy at Berlin Place project, which you can see right now beyond the fences here at Four Winds Field. Just recently, the apartments opened up, and we have our first tenants in the building. As we pan toward left center field, you see a couple of individuals sitting out on their porch right now, getting set to watch the Midwest League All-Star Game. A great feature, the rooftop seating atop the left field portion of the Ivy at Berlin Place. And also up there, you've got a terrific party area where a lot of fans can enjoy some great dining up there. You've got private bathrooms. There's a bar area. Plus, the great thing about these rooftop seating, unlike Wrigley Field, you can come down to this side of the ballpark, walk around the concourse, get some food or drink here. You are not just in the rooftops. You are able to come to any part of this ballpark. So the Ivy at Berlin Place project, we have watched it unfold over the last year or so, and now we're starting to see some of the rewards as the party areas are open. We have our first tenants that have taken up residency in the United Federal Credit Union rooftops. And it's time now to go to our public address announcer, Greg Sims, for the introductions of the staffs and players.
Let's meet the Midwest League Western Division All-Stars. The Western Division is managed by Eric Alamonte. Pitching coach, Cale Johnson. Hitting coach, Rush Chambliss. Assistant coach, Brad Jacob.
Volume good.
Athletic trainer, Chris Walsh. Strength and conditioning, Kyle Richter. Now the non-starters. From Beloit, number 20, Eric Baronez. Number 19, Aiden McIntyre. From Burlington, number 34, Christopher Molina. Number 28, Robinson Pina. Number 23, Jose Soriano. From Cedar Rapids, number 47, Josh Winder. Number 35, Gabe Schneider. From Clinton, number 29, Umberto Mejia. From Kane County, number 31, Blake Workman. Number 9, Buddy Kennedy. From Peoria, number 25, Edgar Escobar. Number 12, Alvaro Sejas. Number 13, Delvin Perez. From Quad Cities, number 21, Brett Daniels. Number 26, Matt Rupenthal. Number 10, Cesar Salazar. Number 3, Trey Dawson. Number 4, Jeremy Pena. From Wisconsin, Logan Gillespie. Number 17, Adam Hill. Number 8, Jesus Luyano. And now introducing the Western Division starters. Leading off from Wisconsin at shortstop, number 6, Bryce Turang. Batting second from Kane County, playing center field, number 2, Alec Thomas. Batting third from Peoria at third base, number 14, Nolan Gorman. Batting fourth from Clinton, playing right field, number 24, Hayar Encarnacion. Batting fifth from Wisconsin and catching, number 15, David Fry. Batting sixth from Kane County, playing second base, number 5, Blaze Alexander. Batting seventh from Peoria, playing first base, number 7, Brady Whalen. Batting eighth from Cedar Rapids, designated hitter, number 16, Chris Williams. Batting ninth from Quad Cities, playing left field, number 18, Austin Dennis. And the starting pitcher from Clinton, right-hander, number 32, Chris Valamont. Ladies and gentlemen, the Western Division All-Stars. And now, let's meet the Midwest League Eastern Division All-Stars. The Eastern Division is managed by Buddy Bailey. The pitching coach, Jamie Vermilia. Hitting coach, Paul McAnulty. Assistant coach, Pedro Gonzalez. Athletic trainer, James Edwards. Strength and conditioning, Dallas Lopez. Now the non-starters. From the Bowling Green Hot Rods, number 8, Trey Cumbie. Number 33, Easton McGee. Number 28, Caleb Stampin. Number 16, Alan Strong. Number 23, Grant Witherspoon. From the Dayton Dragons, number 38, Pavel Manzanero. From the Fort Wayne Tin Caps, number 27, Henry. From the Great Lakes Loons, number 32, Jose Chassis. Number 9, Brett DeGuss. Number 12, Dylan Paulson. Number 14, Nathan Witt. From the Lake County Captains, number 31, Manuel Alvarez. Number 7, Tyler Freeman. From the Lansing Lugnuts, number 21, Kobe Johnson. Number 6, Ryan Gold. Number 3, Nick Podcool. And from the South Bend Cubs, number 30, Raylan Marquez. Number 25, Jeff Passantino. Number 22, Cam Sanders. Number 34, Riley Thompson. Number 24, Andy Weber. And introducing the Eastern Division starters. Leading off from Fort Wayne, second base, number 9, Xavier Edwards. Batting second from Bowling Green at shortstop, number 4, Wander Franco. Batting third from Lake County, center fielder, number 36, Will Benson. Batting fourth from Great Lakes, left fielder, number 44, Nico Holsizer. Batting fifth from Lansing at first base, number 35, Jake Rote. Batting sixth from Great Lakes, third baseman, number 11, Miguel Vargas. Batting seventh from Bowling Green and catching, number 26, Chris Betts. Batting eighth from West Michigan, playing right field, number 18, Ulrich Boyarski. Batting ninth from Bowling Green, designated hitter, number 13, Roberto Alvarez. And the starting pitcher from Lansing, number 20, Josh Winkowski. Ladies and gentlemen, your Eastern Division All-Stars.
There's a look at Josh Winkowski. He'll be the starting pitcher for the Lansing Lugnuts organization tonight for the Eastern Division All-Stars. Buddy Bailey decided that was his choice for the starter for tonight's ball game. A lot of home run hitters on this Eastern Division. Will Benson has 18, Nico Holsizer 15, Chris Betts has 12. The honor of being the home plate umpire and the crew chief is Ben Rosen. At first base is Thomas Burrell. Edwin Jimenez will handle the chores at second base. The third base umpire is A.J. Chalk. Down the left field line, it is Dylan Bradley. And the right field line umpire is Emma Charlesworth Seiler. Congratulations to our 6-member umpiring crew. The honor of being a part of the 55th Midwest League All-Star Game at Four Winds Field in downtown South Bend, Indiana. Look at Eric Almonte and the Western Division. 8 teams in each division. And the South Bend Cubs, of course, part of the Eastern Division, led by Buddy Bailey. We'd like to welcome all our viewers here tonight on WCIU in Chicago and My Michiana in South Bend. We welcome you to the 55th Midwest League All-Star Game from Four Winds Field in downtown South Bend, Indiana. My name is Darren Pritchett. Great to have you with us. We have perfect weather for tonight's ball game. We have sunshine and we have 79 degrees, and we have some of the greatest players in the Midwest League on display here tonight. Right now, the managers are at home plate exchanging the lineup cards. It is Buddy Bailey representing the Chicago Cubs organization, first-year manager for the South Bend Cubs. And the Western Division manager, representing the St. Louis Cardinals organization, the manager of the Peoria Chiefs, Eric Almonte. The changes will be fast and furious, probably right around the 6th inning as our position player switches will begin. And you will likely see 1 or 2 pitchers per half inning as both managers have a goal. They want everybody to be involved in this Midwest League All-Star game. Let's take a look at the lineups for this ball game. We'll start with the Western Division, and the lineup will begin with shortstop Bryce Terang. He's from the Brewers organization, a first-round pick. Center fielder Alec Thomas from Kane County hits second, batting third. Peoria third baseman Nolan Gorman. Herrera Encarnacion from Clinton will play right field and bat fourth. The catcher is David Fry from the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. Batting sixth and playing second base will be Blaze Alexander from Kane County. Batting seventh, Peoria Chiefs first baseman Brady Whalen. Hitting eighth, the designated hitter from Cedar Rapids, Chris Williams. And batting ninth and playing left field is Quad Cities' Austin Dennis. Chris Valamont is the starting pitcher. He continues to warm up down the left field line. He represents the Clinton Lumber Kings. Now the Eastern Division starting lineup. It begins with second baseman Xavier Edwards from the Fort Wayne Tin Caps. Batting second, the shortstop Wander Franco. According to MLB Pipeline, Franco is the number 5 overall prospect in minor league baseball, and he's just 18 years old. Hitting third, the center fielder from Lake County, Will Benson. He leads the Midwest League in home runs with 18. Hitting cleanup, representing Great Lakes, will be left fielder Nico Holsizer. Batting fifth, the first baseman from Lansing, Jake Brote. His teammate, third baseman Miguel Vargas, he will bat sixth tonight. Batting seventh, the catcher from Bowling Green, Chris Betts. He won Home Run Derby last night. He hit 24 total home runs in 3 rounds. Batting eighth, the right fielder from the West Michigan Whitecaps. It is Ulrich Boyarski. He is from Perth, Australia. And batting ninth, the designated hitter from the Bowling Green Hot Rods, Roberto Alvarez. Josh Winkowski from the Lansing Lugnuts is tonight's starting pitcher for the East. Walking to the center of the diamond right now, Baseball Hall of Famer, Chicago Cubs legend Ryne Sandberg, and the governor of the state of Indiana, Eric Holcomb. They will be in charge of our ceremonial first pitches. And Jeff Passantino of the South Bend Cubs will be our catcher, along with South Bend Cubs mascot, Stu.
For tonight's ceremonial first pitches. Introducing first, an Indiana native. He is a veteran of the United States Navy and has also served as the state's lieutenant governor. He and his wife, Janet, live with their dog, Henry, in the governor's residence on North Meridian Street in Indianapolis. Please welcome Governor Eric Holcomb. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a 10-time All-Star. This individual won 9 consecutive Gold Gloves from 1983 to 1991 and was named 1984 National League MVP. The Chicago Cubs legend finished his playing career in 1997 with 2,386 hits and 282 home runs. He was enshrined in Cooperstown after receiving over 76% of the vote in 2005. His number 23 was officially retired by the Chicago Cubs following his induction. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Major League Baseball Hall of Famer, Ryne Sandberg.
Great to have Ryne Sandberg here in South Bend. He was a manager in the Midwest League for the Peoria Chiefs in 2007 and 2008. And Ryne Sandberg, the MVP of the National League in 1984. His name was put on the map, the infamous Sandburg game, June 23rd, 1984, the NBC Game of the Week. And it was the St. Louis Cardinals at the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field in Sandburg. Miraculously hit a pair of 2-run home runs late in that game off fellow Baseball Hall of Famer Bruce Sutter. And Sandburg, that propelled him into the All-Star game just about a week later. And the rest is history. Sandburg now a member of the greats of the game in Cooperstown. We have a wonderful crowd here tonight as we get set for the 55th installment of the Midwest League All-Star Game. I'm Darren Pritchett. Great to have you with us. We have 60 of the best players the Midwest League has to offer. The Eastern versus the Western Division. If you're not familiar with the Midwest League, the South Bend Cubs. We are in our 5th season affiliated with the Chicago Cubs, and we are in the Midwest League's Eastern Division. 5 South Bend Cubs will participate in this ball game. And here comes our first look at the Eastern Division All-Stars as they trot out onto the field for the start of this Midsummer Classic in downtown South Bend. Josh Winkowski is the starter from the Lansing Lugnuts. He is 20 years old from Toledo, Ohio. 6'4", 202 pounds from Estero, Florida. He was taken by the Toronto Blue Jays in the 15th round of the 2016 Major League Baseball draft. This is his 4th season in the Blue Jays organization, his first with Lansing. In 13 starts with the Lugnuts, he has a record of 6-3 with a 2.32 earned run average. He has tossed 73 2/3 innings so far this year, allowing 62 hits. He has walked 26, struck out 71, and opposing batters hitting .230 against Winkowski. A look at Wander Franco, the number 5 overall prospect in minor league baseball. He is just 18 years old, and you see the numbers. 326 the average, 396 the on base, 6 homers, 29 RBI. He's also stolen 14 bases. Every night he's on the field, he plays against guys older than him, sometimes 23, 24, 25 years old, but Franco has been so impressive so far this year, playing in the Rays organization for the Bowling Green Hot Rods. From the Western Division, another top prospect is Nolan Gorman. He represents the Peoria Chiefs, and he is from the St. Louis Cardinals organization. So far, Gorman has put on quite the display, hitting the baseball out of the ballpark since being drafted by St. Louis, 19th overall last year out of high school. In fact, Gorman hit 25 pro home runs as an 18-year-old. He turned 19 on May 10th in South Bend, and he celebrated by hitting a home run. Gorman with 10 home runs and 41 RBI so far this year. Strolling to home plate for the Western Division is Bryce Turang. He is from the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, first-round pick of the Milwaukee Brewers last year. He is MLB Pipeline's number 100 overall prospect, number 3 in the Brewers organization. Turang hitting .295 with a .399 on base percentage, 1 home run, and 26 driven in. We are set for baseball for the first time in 30 years. The Midwest League All-Star Game is in downtown South Bend. The first pitch of the night is a fastball at a called strike, and the fastball at 96 from Josh Winkowski. First pitch tonight at 7:39, 79 degrees and sunshine. Another fastball at the knees and another called strike by Ben Rosen. It's 0-2 to Bryce Turang from the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. The 0-2 is a breaking ball that drops low. Turang is the son of former Major League Baseball outfielder Brian Turang, who played for the Mariners from 93 to 94. Swing and a miss on a slider and a strikeout for Winkowski, and that's how tonight's ball game gets underway. Next up from the Western Division is center fielder Alec Thomas from the Kane County Cougars, a member of the Arizona Diamondbacks organization. the number 7 prospect in the Arizona system according to MLB Pipeline. Thomas is hitting .291. His on-base percentage quite impressive, .383. 6 home runs, 28 driven in. Swing and a miss at a fastball letter high, and that fastball at 95 from Winkowski. Thomas is the son of White Sox Director of Strength and Conditioning, Alan Thomas. The next pitch from Winkowski. And a called strike by Rosen on another fastball. It's 0-2, and right now Winkowski is pumping strikes into the zone. Infield, outfield, straight away for Thomas. He'll take low, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Thomas was committed to play college baseball at Texas Christian University, but the Diamondbacks took him in the 2nd round out of Mount Carmel High School in the Chicagoland area, where he was a 3-sport star. 1-2 hit to the left side. Franco charges, gloves, throws, and he retires Thomas for the 2nd out of the 1st inning. 2 up, 2 down for Winkowski. Now it's third baseman Nolan Gorman from the Peoria Chiefs. 19th overall pick by the St. Louis Cardinals last summer out of O'Connor High School in Arizona. Gorman hitting .241, 10 homers and 41 driven in. He's a left-handed batter. Plenty of pop in this bat. First pitch, fastball upstairs for ball 1. Gorman won the 2018 Major League Baseball All-Star High School Home Run Derby. The 1-0 is swung on, lifted to deep center field. Going back is Benson, and he'll make the catch. And a 1-2-3 first inning for Josh Winkowski. After a half an inning, we are scoreless. This is the Midwest League All-Star Game on My Michiana and WCIU. Midwest League All-Star Game from Four Winds Field in downtown South Bend, Indiana. I'm Darren Pritchett. Great to have you with us on this Tuesday night. Getting the honor of starting the All-Star Game for the Western Division is Chris Valamont, a 5th-round pick out of Mercyhurst by the Marlins in 2018. He was Clinton's opening day starter. 4-4 with a 2.99 ERA this year and 69 in a 3rd innings, giving up 48 hits, walking 26, striking out 80, opposing batters hitting .198 against Valamont. Leading off for the Eastern Division from the Fort Wayne Tin Caps is second baseman Xavier Edwards. Edwards hitting .346 with a .404 on base percentage. His .346 average is the top mark in the Midwest League. Valamont versus Edwards, and away we go with the bottom of the 1st inning. And the first pitch a little low from Valamont, who's got some lime green shoes on here tonight. Edwards, collective balance round A pick of the Padres in 2018 from North Broward High School. He golfs one toward left center. Long run for Thomas, and that ball will drop in for a base hit. And Edwards is the first base runner of the Midwest League All-Star Game. Alec Thomas from Kane County had a lot of real estate to cover, couldn't get there, and Edwards is aboard with the first hit of the ball game. Here comes the shortstop, Wander Franco from the Bowling Green Hot Rods. As we established, the 18-year-old is very comfortable in the Midwest League. He is hitting .326 with a .396 on base percentage, 6 home runs, 29 driven in. First pitch, there's a number down the third base line. It spins just foul, according to our third base umpire, A.J. Chuck. Franco, 5'10", 190, 20 years old, 18 years old out of the Dominican Republic. He is a switch hitter, batting left against Valamont. Bowling Green, the defending Midwest League champions. They defeated Peoria in the championship round last fall. Edwards is stealing. The pitch is a ball. The throw down is an awfully good one by Fry, but Edwards steals second base. Edwards is 18 for 26 in stolen base attempts. Got a good jump on Valamont and steals second. And he's in scoring position with nobody out in the bottom of the first inning. And an RBI chance for Franco, who has 29 so far this year. There's a fastball and a knee-high strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Franco. Played in rookie ball in Princeton last year, hit .351 in 61 games with a .418 on-base percentage. Tampa Bay system is full of great prospects right now, including Wander Franco, who spoils a good pitch and fouls it to the left. Still 1-2. Brendan McKay in the Tampa Bay system was with Bowling Green for about a month last year after being taken number 2 overall. And he has moved his way up to AAA already. The Eastern Division trying to take the early lead. Valamont versus Franco here in the first. Next pitch, a breaking ball. Excellent block by the catcher David Fry, a member of the Brewers organization. Plays for the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. Up in Appleton, just about a 45-minute drive from Green Bay. No wind at the ballpark here tonight. We have perfect conditions for baseball. Sunshine, 79 degrees. The shadows slowly working their way across the diamond. Valamont tries a fastball, and Franco gets a piece to stay alive.
He tagged him there like he thought he was out, like it might have been fair, but...
On deck is Will Benson representing the Lake County Captains from the Indians organization. Paul McAnulty, South Bend Cubs hitting coach, is the third base coach for the East tonight. Off speed, foul off again. Over at first base, also from the South Bend Cubs, assistant coach Pedro Gonzalez. The entire South Bend Cubs staff is taking care of the East, including pitching coach Jamie Vermilia, athletic trainer James Edwards, and Dallas Lopez, the strength and conditioning coordinator. Xavier Edwards down at second with nobody out. Scoreless in the first. Breaking ball, and Franco swings and misses.
We'll take a look at that.
First strikeout for Valamont. Pretty nasty breaking ball down and in to Franco. So a long at bat, Valamont finally wins the battle. With 1 out, here's center fielder Will Benson. Benson, 6'5", 225, 21 years old, out of Atlanta, Georgia, a first-round pick of the Cleveland Indians in 2016. Breaking ball misses high, according to Ben Rosen. Benson with 18 home runs and 55 RBI. He leads the Midwest League in both of those categories, and he will be promoted to Advanced A and the Indian system after this game. Next pitch high, 2-0. Benson led the Midwest League in home runs last year with 22. 18 this year. The batting average was low last year. He has raised it up to 272 this year. And unfortunately for South Bend, they know this guy too well. Benson had a 4-home run game against South Bend in Eastlake, Ohio back on April the 18th. He had a 5th at bat in the 8th inning, and he struck out on a 3-2 pitch. Swinging a foul back by Benson. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He had a grand slam, a 2-run homer, and 2 solo home runs. It was quite a night for Benson. He became the 5th player in in Midwest League history with a 4-home run game. They put the shift on, 3 infielders to the right of second base. Another good breaking ball by Valamont, tapped foul by this big left-handed batter, Will Benson from the Lake County Captains. number 25 prospect in the Cleveland Indians organization. Xavier Edwards down at second with one out. And a pulled fastball down the right field line by Benson. So it looks like back-to-back long at-bats here against the starter, Chris Valamont, representing the Clinton Lumber Kings, Miami Marlins affiliate. First year they have been together as a team, Marlins and Clinton. The 2-2. Fouled off again. Everybody's going to get a souvenir here tonight at this pace. Nico Holsizer from the Dodgers organization waits on deck for the Eastern Division. This will be pitch number 17 of the first inning for Valamont. 11 strikes. Breaking ball, and Ben Rosen's going to say that the big left-handed batter went around on his swing, and that is back-to-back strikeouts for Valamont. Valamont got Franco on a similar pitch, a breaking ball down and in. So after the single by Xavier Edwards and a stolen base, strikeout, and now Valamont faces left fielder Nico Holsizer from the Great Lakes Loons, the Dodgers affiliate. In fact, he's sporting an LA Dodger helmet here tonight. 268 the average, 395 the on base, 15 home runs for Holsizer. Fastball, and he pops it up left side of the diamond, foul ground. The catcher, Fry, gets rid of the mask, and he makes the catch. Edwards with a single and nothing else for the East. After an inning, we're scoreless on My Michiana and WCIU. We are set for the second inning at Four Winds Field in downtown South Bend. The East and the West scoreless after one inning of play. Josh Winkowski, the starter from Lansing, his night is done. A 1-2-3 first inning. And the next pitcher to the mound is South Bend's very own Riley Thompson. Thompson, a starter for the South Bend Cubs, is 3-3 with a 2.50 earned run average. He was born in Evansville, Indiana, grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, and went to the University of Louisville. Thompson will face Encarnacion, Fry, and Alexander, 4, 5, 6 in the West lineup. Up first is going to be Herrera Encarnacion from the Clinton Lumber Kings. He's an outfielder in the Marlins organization. 10 home runs and 43 RBI for Encarnacion, who was signed by the Marlins as an international free agent back in 2017 out of the Dominican Republic. The first pitch to Encarnacion, and Thompson splits the plate with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Encarnacion, over his first 3 pro seasons, had a total of 10 home runs. In the first half of his season in Clinton, he's got 10 home runs. 6'4", 219, 21 years old. Encarnacion takes the fastball near the knees and a called strike, and it's 1-2. And Thompson right now, his fastball's right around 95 mile an hour. Breaking ball hit over the third baseman's head into left, and a base hit for Encarnacion. He leads off the second inning with that base hit. First hit for the Western Division. And with 2 strikes, Thompson got that breaking ball in a pretty good spot for Encarnacion. Now it's David Fry from the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, a member of the Milwaukee Brewers organization. Fry is 23 years old, out of Colleyville, Texas. First pitch, he swings and pops it up behind first base. Brote from the Lansing Lugnuts in foul ground. He'll make the catch for the first out of the second inning. So David Fry, first pitch swinging, pops up to Jake Brote. Blaze Alexander from Kane County, a 20-year-old from Cape Coral, Florida, is next. 11th round pick of the Diamondbacks in 2018. 4 home runs, 23 RBI for Alexander. Thompson's fastball is hit right by the Western Division manager, Eric Almonte. Alexander from IMG Academy, the number 9 prospect in the Arizona Diamondbacks organization, according to MLB Pipeline. Encarnacion, the runner at first, 1 out here in the second inning. We're scoreless, and that pitch low and away. 1-1 to Alexander. He was committed to play college baseball at South Carolina. Alexander, well thought of coming out of high school. Perfect Game ranked him as the 11th best shortstop in the nation. It's now 1-2 on Alexander. Brady Whalen from the Peoria Chiefs awaits on deck. Darren Pritchett from Four Winds Field, 55th Midwest League All-Star Game here in downtown South Bend, Indiana. Good fastball, and Thompson records the strikeout.
Let's take a look at that.
First strikeout for Thompson, the second by Eastern Division pitching. Thompson went up with the fastball, and Alexander swung through it. So 2 outs, and here is Whalen, first baseman in the St. Louis Cardinals organization. 6'4", 180. 12th round pick, and he takes a strike from Thompson. Whalen from Union High School, 12th round pick. 4th professional season for Whalen. He's had a breakout year. Healthy cut at a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 0-2. Hitting .275 this year. Last year in the New York Penn League, Whalen hit .209. Encarnacion stealing. The pitch is swung on, hit toward right center. Boyarsky over in the alley, and the right fielder will make the catch to retire the side. A hit and 1 left. We played an inning and a half. The East and the West are scoreless on My Michiana and WCIU. A lot of different ways to have fun at Four Winds Field in downtown South Bend, something owner Andrew Berlin brought to the ballpark a few years ago. The splash pad down the right field line, very near the beautiful First Source Bank South Bend Cubs Performance Center. New pitcher for the Western Division from the Burlington Bees and the Angels organization, Jose Soriano, 5-5 with a 2.47 earned run average. Soriano takes over for Chris Valamont, a scoreless first inning, allowing 1 hit and striking out 2. This is Soriano's 2nd straight year in the Midwest League. Last year, his ERA was 4.47. He's improved that to 2.47 this year. Soriano signed by the Angels back in 2016 as an international free agent out of the Dominican Republic. Leading off for the Eastern Division from the Lansing Lugnuts, it's first baseman Jake Brote. Brote hitting .265 on the season. Had a scare recently in a game against the South Bend Cubs at Four Winds Field. Was hit by an Ethan Roberts fastball in the left hand as he hits a hard ground ball into left field, and the second hit for the Eastern Division. Brote had that hand bandaged up after the game, but fortunately everything's okay. Took part in Home Run Derby last night in the starting lineup tonight. So Soriano greeted rudely by Brote. First pitch swinging and a base hit for the Lansing first baseman. Now it's third baseman Miguel Vargas. He is a Great Lakes Loon, the LA Dodgers affiliate in the Midwest League. The Loons won the Eastern Division first half championship. Vargas, a big reason why. He has had a huge offensive year. .308 the average with a .388 on base percentage. Here's a breaking ball low and away to Vargas. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Great Lakes will take on Lake County in a first-round series in September, a best-of-3. The Captains won the wild card in the East. But Lake County is going to lose their number 2 and number 3 hitter, as Tyler Freeman and Will Benson both will be promoted to Advanced A, and they will not be a part of the team that will play in the postseason. And Soriano misses again. Advantage Vargas, 3 balls and a strike. Vargas played on the Cuba 15 and under national team before defecting with his father in November of 2015. His dad, Lazaro, won Olympic gold medals in 1992 and 1996. Pretty good genes for Vargas. That was a hanging breaking ball that he tops foul and a full count. Vargas was with 3 different teams last year, 2 rookie league teams and a little bit with Great Lakes, and hit a combined .330. Line drive, right field, base hit for Vargas. And the first 2 have reached for the Eastern Division in the second inning against Soriano.
We'll take a look at that.
So Vargas goes the opposite way. Hit that pitch out over the plate for a single. 3 hits now for the East in the ballgame. And now the home run champion from last night. It's Chris Betts from the Bowling Green Hot Rods. Betts hit 24 home runs last night in 3 rounds of Home Run Derby. And he'll take a first pitch strike. Betts, 12 home runs, 40 RBI for the Hot Rods. His on-base percentage at .353. There's a curveball that stays up in the zone from Soriano. 1-1 to Chris Betts. He was drafted in the 2nd round by the Tampa Bay Rays back in 2015 out of Wilson High School, Long Beach, California. Now in the driver's seat, 2 balls and a strike. Was committed to play baseball at the University of Tennessee, but elected to sign on with the Tampa Bay Rays organization. The next from Soriano misses high and outside, and it's 3-1. Humberto Mejia from the Clinton Lumber Kings warming up down the left field line for the Western Division. The 3-1 from Soriano to Betts. Fastball healthy, cut and fouled straight back.
There's your bullpen.
There's a look at Mejia, 6'3", 175, a representative from Panama in this game. Jake Broad at second. Miguel Vargas at first, nobody out, a scoreless game in the second. Next pitch down and in. And it's going to be a walk to Betts. And the first 3 have reached in the second inning for the Eastern Division. So Broad at third, Vargas at second, Betts at first, and a big opportunity for the native of Perth, Australia. Ulrich Boyarski, right fielder from the West Michigan Whitecaps. West Michigan's offense, a little up and down in the first half, but this guy has been consistently good. And Soriano misses outside. Bases loaded, nobody out for Boyarski, who has 10 home runs. He has driven in 43, .317 the average, .352 the on-base percentage. Not a bad guy to hit 8th in the lineup. He smokes one to left field. Dennis going back near the warning track. He'll make the catch. That's going to be an RBI for Boyarski. Sacrifice fly scores Jake Broad, and the Eastern Division has grabbed a 1-0 lead.
We'll roll out with that if nothing else happens.
High fives in the dugout for Brodt from the Lansing Lugnuts, and the Eastern Division strikes first against Jose Soriano of Burlington. Vargas at second, Betts at first, one out for the designated hitter from the Bowling Green Hot Rods, Roberto Alvarez. Soriano from the stretch delivers. And the curveball stays up to Alvarez, who is wearing lucky number 13.
We will roll out with that score if nothing else happens.
Soriano trying to get out of this jam. A double play ball would do that. And he gets Alvarez to chase on a fastball at 96. It's 1-1. Well, neither manager wants to put a whole lot of stress on these pitchers. Once they get to 20, there's going to be bullpen activity and maybe a replacement. There's a double play ball, and it's going to be the 6-4-3 variety in the Western Division. Gets out of the jam, but the East picks up a run. It's a sacrifice fly off the bat of Ulrich Bojarski, plating Jake Brodt, and the Eastern Division on that sacrifice fly has a 1-0 lead. This is the Midwest League All-Star Game on My Michiana and WCIU. And welcome back to the Midwest League All-Star Game from Four Winds Field in downtown South Bend, Indiana. I'm Darren Pritchett, joined in the booth by Baseball Hall of Famer and Chicago Cubs legend Ryne Sandberg. Ryne, great to have you here in South Bend once again after managing with the Peoria Chiefs here in South Bend a couple of times. Great to have you here.
Yeah, it's nice to be back. What a change. No doubt about it. They stepped it up a notch since 2007, 2008, but a very nice venue here, beautiful. And what a night for baseball. All-star game here, a terrific crowd, and really impressed with the whole thing.
Ryne, it's interesting when you spoke today at the luncheon, you never got to play in a minor league all-star game.
No, they didn't have them because, you know, I believe that they couldn't afford to have one. They didn't have the venues for it, the support, or maybe just the reason to have one. Back then, it was just you're in the farm teams and you're working your way up, and they just did not have the time or the capability, I think, to put together an all-star team or an all-star game situation. But this is a terrific one, that's for sure. Yeah.
Braylon Marquez, one of the top pitching prospects in the Chicago Cubs system, is now on the mound for the Eastern Division. His fastball, 95-98 with a wipeout slider and a changeup that is progressing. And Marquez right now, 6'4", 185, 20 years old, out of the Dominican Republic. The Cubs signed him back in 2015, a member of the South Bend Cubs rotation. He faces Chris Williams from Cedar Rapids, who fouls off a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, 1-1. I know we spent a lot of time today at the luncheon reminiscing about your career, the Sandberg game which defined you, and I can't believe that was back in 1984, but that really put you on the map that day.
35 years ago, it really did nationally. It was a nationally televised game, Saturday game of the week. It was the backup game. The main game was rained out with Joe Garagiola and Vince Scully announcing that one. So it was the backup game, and we were the main game. So it had the whole atmosphere with the Cubs Cardinals. We were both at the top of the order at the time.
And Chris Williams grounds out to first.
Yep, and fighting for first place, and the big rivalry, and everything was in place for a terrific afternoon, and just things fell into place for us as a team, except for falling behind 7-0 with Steve Trout on the mound. That wasn't the best start. And I see him at the Cubs convention every year. He takes a lot of credit for the Sandberg game. He set it up beautifully, but we battled back, and it was just one of those days, the wind blowing out, and it was just one of those days where you thought maybe 9 or 10 runs would win the game, and we just fought back, and I was able to come up with a couple of at-bats, but elevating the ball off of Bruce Sutter was probably the biggest thing that day. That was just it was just unheard of. He was just a dominant sinker ball type of pitcher with the split finger fastball. It was hard to get underneath it, and that was my objective in those two at-bats with 2 outs and nothing to lose situation. So it's one of the 2 times in my whole career where I actually aimed beneath the baseball and then connected it on the upswing. Yeah, every other time it was aimed for the top of the baseball and used the whole field, and and stay on top of the baseball, resulting in line drives.
Austin Dennis from Quad Cities at the plate. Ryan Sandberg joining us here in the booth at the Midwest League All-Star Game at Four Winds Field. And if I remember correctly, you really stole some thunder from Willie McGee, who hit for the cycle that day for the Cardinals.
Player of the game, game of the week, and then take it away from him. They could have made co-MVPs for the game, but that was a dirty trick they pulled on him, taking it away. It was a big deal back in the day, being the player of the game and the Saturday game of the week, and everybody was watching. And just nothing like today where there's multiple games 7 days a week. Cubs were on at 1:20 in the afternoon, WGN, and the Braves were on at night. And then it was the Saturday game of the week, and that was it for baseball. Pretty amazing how it's developed now and how visible the game is. But Saturday game of the week was a big deal, and that's what I grew up watching in Spokane, Washington, was those games that were nationally televised.
Bryce Terang at the plate takes a strike, 99 from Marquez. We were talking recently on my radio show, the All-Star game when I was growing up was more special because you didn't see Mike Schmidt play. You didn't see Reggie Jackson play very often other than NBC's Game of the Week, maybe Monday Night Baseball on ABC. So I know we've tried to create more excitement with today's All-Star game, but with everything so out there right now, you can watch your favorite team play or any team play. It's really changed how people look at the All-Star game.
It really does, and just the players are so visible, and you get to watch the best players. I mean, it's outstanding, and it took me a little bit of time to warm up to the idea of interleague play, but then I witnessed it in '97, the first year of it, and I thought it was terrific. Going to different ballparks, seeing different players, and then rotating the divisions. So the fans and the players get to see everybody in the game over a 3-year period. I think it's that part of it's terrific, along with the All-Star game. Which is still big. I mean, it's bigger than ever at the major league level with the home run derby going on for, what's that take, 3 hours?
It seems like it.
I was in the first one that when they brought it back in 1990 at Wrigley. We were given 5 outs, and then that was it. The whole thing took about 20 minutes.
Terang, first-round pick of the Brewers, sends one the opposite way down the left field line. He's got a double with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. That'll bring up Alek Thomas. You know, Ryan, the one thing about the game today that's really changed, and a lot of fans talk about this, the number of strikeouts in the game. I think in your generation, it was about putting the ball in play. As you watch today's game, does it frustrate you at all that it's so home run or nothing now in the game?
I think that part of it, yes. All the other changes, I like safety of the game, breaking up the double play, the collision collision rule at home plate. I think that's all outstanding. When I go to the ballpark, like a fan, I want to see the best players playing. So I like that. But the mentality of the players of elevating the baseball and hitting it to the outfield in the air, we never even talked that way. We talked about line drives and gap to gap and hitting 300. And to hit 300, you can't strike out 200 times. You're not going to do it. So I think the strikeout used to be in my day, you really took that personally, and you'd walk back, and you wanted to do something about the next time, even the next time, just to shorten it up and put the ball in play and see what happened. We would make that adjustment. So I think that's one part of the game that frustrates me a little bit, and I know it frustrates other people. I think it frustrates Joe Madden every now and then, especially when there's guys on base and you can just put the ball in play and make something happen and get a run in, rather than trying to hit the ball across the street on the rooftops and you strike out. And talk about speed of play. You know, all these strikeouts, you know, these are 5 or 6, 7, 8 pitch at bats with no action at the end of it. So the fans are waiting there, and then nothing happens, and then a strikeout happens. There's like a lull in the action, and then the next batter comes up there, and when there's 10, 12, 13 strikeouts in a game, the fans don't have too much to watch. Rather than a ball put in play, see the defensive guys do their glove work and make some good plays and save some runs.
Alan Strong from Bowling Green has replaced Marquez in the ball game. Ryan Sandberg, Darren Pritchett with you from the Midwest League All-Star Game on My Michiana and WCIU in Chicago. I think one thing we've seen from Javi Baez with the Chicago Cubs, he is more willing to hit the ball the other way this year, and that is just taking his game to another level.
No question. It started last year, all last year, and he just really matured last year. He really took pride in the fact of trying to cut down the strikeout and the fact that he was getting pitched away with breaking pitches, and he made a nice adjustment last year, runner-up MVP. If the Cubs would have really went to the playoffs longer and maybe could have been the MVP of the National League in my book. I watched him every single day. Gold Glove off the charts. He was clutch. He was mainly the main guy April and May last year, and he was fun to watch. But he was one that took pride in making an adjustment. And we always hear that baseball is a game of adjustments. That's a prime example of making an adjustment year to year. And if you don't make an adjustment, everything will stay the same, and you cannot be successful that way.
Alec Thomas from Kane County at the plate, facing Strong. No balls and 2 strikes. The East out in front, 1-0, top of the 3rd. And right now the West has the tying run on second base, Bryce Terang from the Milwaukee Brewers. Your impressions of the Chicago Cubs so far this year?
Yeah, I think they've done a fine job. They've struggled a little bit out of the bullpen.
As there's a fly ball to Holsizer in left. He'll make the catch, and we'll finish that thought
Sounds good.
on the other side of the break. Ryan Sandberg will stick around for the bottom of the 3rd. The East up 1-0 on My Michigan and WCIU. Darren Pritchett, Ryan Sandberg back in the broadcast booth at Four Winds Field, 55th Midwest League All-Star Game. The East out in front 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the 3rd. And Ryan, let's spend a couple of moments on, you're with the Philadelphia Phillies and you're traded to the Chicago Cubs. What was that moment like when you found out you were traded and your first reaction to becoming a member of the Cubs organization?
Well, first of all, back then you were groomed as a minor leaguer to play for that organization, and I was with the Phillies, and it was all about the Phillies way and to be a Philly and all that. So I had to shed that rather quickly going to a spring training. But I saw that the Cubs were rebuilding. Dallas Green, who drafted me out of high school, and then he was my first manager in the big leagues when I was a September call-up in '81. Then he took over the GM job for the Cubs, brought me over there in a trade. He saw somebody that nobody else did as far as an opportunity for me to break in, and I went to camp that year and made the team. But my first reaction was, okay, I have a chance to break in possibly with the Cubs here, and they're bringing me over here for a reason. And so I wanted to make the most out of it. So I remember having 3 gloves in the dugout during some of those spring training games, center field, a little bit of third base, short, and second. And they were just looking for a spot. I was hitting the ball well, so then it got towards the end. They were trying to find a spot for me to play, and ended up making the team third baseman out of the camp. And the first time I'd played third base, played 5 months there, made 6 errors, hit over 270, and then they moved me to second base September 1 of my rookie season, and then played second base the rest of the time. So it was an opportunity, and I was ready for it. Took advantage of the situation, and being versatile, I think, was a big thing. And you see that more in today's game, where the teams, a guy like the Cubs, Joe Madden, he likes versatility, and if you're swinging the bat, you can get yourself in the lineup rather than just one way. So
David Bodie, former South Bend Cub. Yeah.
David Bodie, a 3 or 4 year deal, being a versatile player and swinging the bat.
Humberto Mejia, the new pitcher, he induces a ground ball off the bat of Xavier Edwards, 1 out.
And speaking of the Cubs, right at the top of the division, best division in baseball. There's going to be some exciting baseball the rest of the year. There has been up to this point, and it's fun to watch. The Brewers are tough. The Cardinals have been tough with the Cubs. But I like the offense of what they've done. They made some adjustments after struggling last year. They do a much better job scoring early on in the game for the starting pitcher. Starting pitchers have been good. They've lost a few in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, and without Morrow, the closer, everybody picking up and stepping it up a little bit out of their norm in responsibilities, and they've lost some games there. But we got the Kimball coming.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a huge shot in the arm for the team, and it's a long season. There's a lot of games left, so I think he'll contribute big, and the offense will continue to do its thing. They play defense, and the starting pitching has been good.
Wander Franco at the plate, 0 for 1 tonight, the 18-year-old in the Tampa Bay organization. So a quick thought on 1984. You had Bob Denier in front of you, Gary Matthews after you. That's a pretty good spot to be.
It was a great spot. base runner on first base. Back then, it was basically pitchers had a good move to first, and then it was the pitch out to home. That was it. There wasn't too much of the slide step going on. I was a fastball hitter, and I just played cat and mouse with Bobby D on base on getting fastballs and hitting the ball the other way, driving it out of the park, first and third in him. Hitting doubles, second and third, and then Sarge getting up there. He was a very good guy, using the whole field and getting the guys in. He told us, you guys get on and I'll get you in, and that was the mentality. After him, we had Leon Durham and Keith Moreland and Jody Davis. So we had bats. On the 84 team, the number 2 hitter through number 7 all drove in over 80 runs that year. And I just remember that. But 10 runs were up on the board a lot. And the Cubs made some moves, brought over Sutcliffe in the middle of the season and Eckersley, and made some nice additions to us that put us over the top and got us to the playoffs.
We have a few seconds left possible in this half inning. I have to ask you your reaction when the Cubs clinched that World Series.
Life-changing. Like maybe 2 or 3 pianos off my back. I didn't know if it was ever going to happen. And all my teammates and coaches and all that, just to walk around thinking that the Cubs won the World Series, that was our goal, and life-changing for all of us. And I have a ring that I sport, and I'm very proud of it. Now it's all about winning another one.
That's right.
A little bit greedy on my part, but hey,
don't blame you.
That's right. They have the players to do it.
That's right. Ryan, great to have you in South Bend. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
Hall
you.
of Famer Ryan Sandberg joining us. It's 1-0 East Midwest League All-Star game on My Michiana and WCIU. We welcome you back to the 55th Midwest League All-Star game from Four Winds Field in downtown South Bend, Indiana. The East out in front of the West, 1-0. Welcome back to the broadcast booth. I'm Darren Pritchett, joined by Andrew Berlin, part owner of the Chicago Cubs and owner of the South Bend Cubs. And look at this crowd. Look at what we have here tonight at the Midwest League All-Star game. You have to be so proud.
I am. First of all, thanks to all the fans for coming out. The second of all, thanks to all of our colleagues that work here. They've created this most amazing experience. It's really been dynamic. Oh, Ryan just walked into the booth. I have to give up my microphone now?
No, you're good. I think you're front and center right now. So,
I mean, Hall of Fame, part-time baseball guy.
I'll just let you two guys talk. I'll get out of here. I'm the oddball in this group, let me tell you. Nolan Gorman at the plate for the West. As we get underway in the 4th inning, the new pitcher for the Eastern Division is Brett DeGuss from Great Lakes. Well, this has been a long process to get to this point with all the planning by your staff, Joe Hart, Nick Brown, Chris Hagstrom, on down the line. I know I'm leaving out too many people, but this has turned out to be a wonderful event, and by golly, Mother Nature gave us a break. After cool and rainy conditions throughout the baseball season this year, we have a perfect night tonight. Reminds me of the first ever South Bend Cubs game.
Yeah, remember
when
that?
you and Theo Epstein walked out from behind home plate. It stopped raining and we had sunshine and 75 degrees.
The sun broke through the clouds that day. It was a walk-off in the bottom of the 9th that day.
That's right.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But I look around here. I got to tell you, I see people here that I haven't seen here all season, and I got to tell you, if the All-Star game brings folks out, for a while, and they come back to the ballpark after, everything's great. But there's some great baseball out here. Oh my goodness!
We have some amazing players in this ball game, including this guy at the plate, the number 35 overall prospect, according to MLB Pipeline, and the Cardinal prospect walks against DeGuss, leading off the 4th inning. Ryan Sandberg was just in here, of course, in the last inning, and he managed Peoria, and he managed in this ballpark. I don't know if it was 07 or 08, one of the 2 years, and the first thing he said was, I can't believe this is the same ballpark. And I remember Dick Schofield, who managed the Silverhawks back in the day, came back through as the Dayton manager, and he was stunned what you have done to this ballpark.
Yeah, I mean, it had good bones. I will say that. It had good bones, but we really had to make a lot of changes. But it's all for the better. I mean, Ryan thought we built a whole new ballpark.
Yeah.
He asked me, when did you build this? I said, well, 2 renovations. We did 2 major renovations, obviously a lot of cosmetic work, and we've added a lot of buildings along the way. But, listen, the play is out here, right? So on the grass, Roger Bossard from the White Sox.
And there's Encarnacion belting one to deep right field, and that's going to leave the ballpark. A 2-run home run for Gerard Encarnacion, and the West jumps in front by a score of 2-1.
He really smacked that.
He sure did. And how about last night in Home Run Derby, Chris Betts, our winner from Bowling Green, he hit one completely over the South Bend Cubs Performance Center. I mean, over everything. That has to be 480 feet.
Yeah, that was a poke. That was a poke. But what I was going to say is that the field we had replaced by Roger Bossard, who is the sod father from the White Sox, and he had never done a minor league ballpark before. So we've won awards for this grass.
Yeah. So Encarnacion goes the opposite way and sends it onto the concourse in right, and he knew it. Here's another drive to right by David Fry of Wisconsin. That's going to be tracked down by Ulrich Bolyarski from West Michigan for the first out of the fourth inning. I'm Darren Pritchett with Andrew Berlin, South Bend Cubs owner and part owner of the Chicago Cubs. Let's spend a moment talking about the Ivy at Berlin Place project. You have your first tenants now in the apartments. Assess what we have in the outfield.
Well, in the outfield, I mean, we built 4 buildings out there. We have a waiting list there. Is about 3x the number of units we have. But they're all not all leased yet, so we still take on a few more neighbors. I spent my first few nights in my unit. It's beautiful. And with the balconies overlooking the ballpark, it's about 445 from home plate.
The lady on your screen on the right, I've heard the story. She always wanted to live in a place where she could overlook a ballpark.
Yes.
And this is perfect for her. We see her out on the porch quite often watching the ball game here at Four Winds Field. It's absolutely perfect. What a great story.
She's terrific. I think she's 91, thereabouts.
I think so, yeah.
And her name is Genevieve, and she told me that she's whatever unit you're picking, I want to live next to you. And I said, that's perfect.
I didn't know that.
I won't wake you up. You won't wake me up. It's a, it's a perfect neighbor.
Blaze Alexander at the plate for the Western Division.
Now we built an entertainment center on top of the building overlooking the field as well. So it's really remarkable. It's so beautiful there, and the fit and finish is fantastic. But it has all the amenities the modern apartment owner wants. So it's from fitness rooms to business space to a wonderful, beautiful sun deck that overlooks the field as well for the tenants. So it's a pretty special place. But it's the vibe. The vibe comes from the people that are here, and the vibe is from the folks that are in the community that just love baseball, that love their neighbors and love their city. And I got to tell you that you can't buy that. That's here in the culture.
And there's a strikeout. Alexander down. That's the second out of the fourth inning. 2 runs are in, and here comes Brady Whalen from Peoria, and also South Bend manager Buddy Bailey's going to go to the bullpen. So we're going to have a pitching change. We'll keep it right here for the pitching change. There are so many great things about the building, but sitting here from the broadcast booth, you just can't take your eyes off the rooftop seating that reminds you of what you see at Wrigley Field. That was just icing on the cake.
Yeah, but better. I mean,
yes.
It's hard to say that anything's better than Wrigley, but the reason it's better because you don't have Waveland. So you don't have a street separating the building from the park, so it's actually a little bit closer to home plate. And plus we have the modern amenities up there with the big kitchen and the grandstands and the pergola and fire pits up there and chaise lounges, and it's a great place to watch a game.
And the great thing about this rooftop seating compared to Wrigley, you can come to the rest of the ballpark.
Yes.
You're welcomed into Four Winds Field, and you can get a hot dog down here, a beverage, walk around, and you can enjoy everything we have on this side of the ballpark.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. Minor league is a little bit different than major leagues. I'm sure all of your listeners know. They say that 85% of our fans, when they leave the ballpark, can't remember the score of the game, but they remember whether or not they had a good time. And for me, it's important that people are making memories, and they are. They're making a lot of memories here with friends and family, which is fantastic.
And for all our viewers that have not been to Four Winds Field, or maybe you have not been to this facility in many years, you will not find a cleaner ballpark.
That's right.
I mean, you have your standards. There are things you expect every day. The ballpark is power washed, and the bathrooms are clean, top-notch food.
Yep.
And you've brought so much to our community. You have given them so many reasons to come and enjoy a great evening of baseball at Four Winds Field.
Well, I joke with people that I like things just so. I like it first class at a fair price, and that's a great value proposition for the fans. They accuse me of being OCD, and I tell them I'm not OCD, I'm CDO. You know what CDO is? CDO is OCD, but in alphabetical order.
Ooh, okay. Wow, you're getting philosophical on me there.
It's a bad joke. It's a bad joke. It's a bad joke. But seriously, I mean, everything in this ballpark has been thought out. For the moment folks arrive here to the moment they leave, there's about 36 distinct touch points we talk about and think about and try to make each touch point surprising and delightful for our fans.
Jose Chacin is the new pitcher representing the Great Lakes Loons from Venezuela, 22 years old. Signed by the Dodgers back in 2015. He faces Brady Whalen from the Peoria Chiefs. And Whalen skies one to right field. Boyarski is under the baseball, and he will make the catch. The 2-run home run by Herrera Encarnacion has put the West in front of the East by a score of 2-1. Andrew's going to stick around for the bottom of the 4th inning. You're watching the Midwest League All-Star Game on My Michiana and WCIU. Great moment just a moment ago on the field in this Midwest League All-Star Game. A look at Buddy Bailey, 31 years as a minor league manager. On June 6th, he won his 2100th game, and we are proud to have him in South Bend representing our organization. Andrew Berlin, owner of the South Bend Cubs. I'm Darren Pritchett. He is truly a minor league baseball manager. He has the greatest stories, and I know you've had some time to be around him as well.
He's a fantastic guy. I've told people this all the time. If you had to go to Central Cast and define the best minor league manager and a successful one at that, you'd go get Buddy Bailey. With his accent, his southern accent, his stories, his background, and the success. Yeah. He's outstanding. He's the real deal.
And you think about, he's got 2 of the most prestigious World Series rings. He was a minor league manager in the Red Sox organization when they broke their curse in 2004, beating St. Louis. He's in the Cubs organization when the Cubs break their curse and taking down the Cleveland Indians. And you've got a pretty good-looking ring right there from the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, that's right.
How special.
It's I took it out of the vault. It's like wearing a chandelier in my finger. It's a tough ring to wear.
How would you describe to Cub fans watching our broadcast and listening to us what it's like to be around Theo Epstein or members of the organization that put together these great Cub teams over the last few years?
I think the first thing you notice is when you're with Theo or Jed or Jason McLeod, who's head of scouting and player development, that none of the wins or even the World Series happened by accident. It was not an accident. It was a plan. And the plan was well executed, and even with the plan, you had to find the right people with the right traits and skills. And boy, I tell you, it's you're around brilliant people.
Yeah.
You meet Theo, and you realize this guy's actually very different than anybody you've ever met. And Jed is as smooth and as cool and as sharp as they come. And then Jason McLeod, just an evaluator of talent. I mean, his sensibility, his background, his deep knowledge of the game. And starting out as a scout and moving up through the organization, you realize that the trinity or the triumvirate of these 3 guys, of course, along with hundreds of others that work with them, a very special group.
Brett Daniels from Quad Cities, the new pitcher for the West. Nico Holsizer from Great Lakes at the plate. 2-1 West, bottom of the 4th inning.
But then you have people like Tom Ricketts and Crane Kenny and Alex Sugarman and all these just brilliant people working together, coming together to make it all work. I mean, the Cubs is just so much more than what you see on the field. It's real estate development, it's entertainment, it's the concessions, it's the entire experience. It's really an amazing organization, unlike any I've ever heard or seen or experienced in Major League Baseball. And I have to say, we learned a lot from them as we applied those principles and those ideas here at South Bend. And what's marvelous at South Bend is that the ship is not as big here, and as a consequence, it's a little easier to turn quickly. So we've quadrupled attendance here. We've won a lot of accolades and awards as one of the best, actually the best minor league ballpark in all of baseball. It's 160 minor league ballparks. We got #1. Baseball Digest called us the best ballpark in the country, and those accolades are important. But what's more important is all the people sitting here, and these people are watching the game. That this is truly an all-star game. It's got everybody's attention, which is fantastic.
Something I've always wanted to ask you, and I've been around you for 5 years. I don't know why I've never asked this, but you are such a successful businessman, Berlin Packaging. What drives you on a daily basis to have success in that line of work and also being a part of this minor league baseball group of ownership. I mean, there's all shapes and sizes, ballparks, and we here are in South Bend, and we, I think, are stacking up with anybody in minor league baseball. But what drives you on a daily basis?
I think it's working in a fraternity of people coming together to do something special. I have to say it's very stimulating. It's a lot of fun to actually work with a group of people that you like, that's cut from the same fabric, that believes what you believe, and they too also want to do something special and leave an imprint. I have to tell you, working whether it's in packaging or baseball, any other business, people want to be successful. People want to, build for themselves and build for their families, and those are noble missions for someone who works in a company. And listen, these are folks that life isn't about the things that you have. Life is about the adventures and the experiences and the love you have in your life and the people you share with. That's what life is about. And I got to tell you, in baseball, I mean, here we're throwing a party for almost 8,000 people here, and everyone's having a really nice time. And by the way, they love being with each other, and that's a fun. Ooh, got hit.
There was a line drive off the back of the pitcher Daniels, and Brote's going to reach. So back-to-back hits by Holsizer and Brote. So there's going to be some checking on the pitcher Daniels. He's smiling right now. I think it was just a soft line drive, and he looks to be okay.
Yeah. Caught him at the right angle, too.
No question.
He bent over fast.
Take a look at the replay. It was a soft line drive. I don't think the right arm or right hand came in contact.
Shoulder.
Yeah, turned his back the last second. So now Vargas.
The glove flip backwards. That's son, you're no Javi Baez.
2 on, nobody out for Vargas.
You're still in the minor leagues, buddy. That's all right. But that's what drives me. I like working with teams of people who want the same thing, and it's very, very stimulating. It's very exciting, and especially when you're successful, and it has a lot to do with the people you hire. But it takes some good ideas too.
It's interesting. A week ago, I was introduced to a gentleman who is actually working for a company that's your competition. And he gave you the ultimate compliment that, well, I can't use the exact words, but you're a tough customer to deal with, and it drives them on a daily basis.
I'm sure it does.
That's the ultimate compliment.
I'm sure as well.
Long drive, right field. Going back toward the corner, that ball's going to land, and that's going to be an extra base hit for Vargas. Holsizer around third. We're going to have a play at the plate. The throw is high, and we've got a 2-2 game.
Nice.
Vargas from Great Lakes, the RBI double, and a 2-2 game in the bottom of the 4th inning. And Vargas is 2 for 2.
That's terrific.
Let's take a look here.
So now 2 runs on 6 hits for the Eastern Division, and they still have second and third and nobody out for Chris Betts. Good job using the opposite field. You mentioned Javi Baez. That's something Baez is doing more and more of. And that ball was hit toward the right field corner, and it drops in for a base hit. And now the East has a chance to take the lead against Daniels. And it's our home run champion, Chris Betts.
Oh, was he launching him the other day or what? Oof.
Fouls off the first pitch. I would just like to know what it feels like to be handed $1,000 in cold cash. I have not had that opportunity yet in my life, but you handed it to him.
You know what he said to me? It was very, very funny. I handed him $1,000 of cash. He leans over. He says, "Brother, this is just in time. The rent's due tomorrow." It was so funny. I was thinking to myself, you know what? In a couple of years, you'll never have to worry about rent for the rest of your life. If you keep hitting like that and winning that home run derby, oh my goodness, he really was crushing them.
24 home runs in 3 rounds last night. And he's got a chance to put the East in front once again. East led 1-0 after the second. The West scored 2 in the top of this 4th inning on the 2-run home run by Encarnacion, but Vargas has the RBI double, and we're knotted up once again. Betts at the plate. Boyarski on deck for Buddy Bailey's Eastern Division All-Stars. This is the 10th time Buddy has managed a minor league All-Star game. And Betts takes low, and it's 2 balls and a strike. When you were growing up, when you think about great players then, who were the guys you really idolized?
Oh gosh, I love the Cubs, and the '69 Cubs broke my heart. I was a 9-year-old little boy, but I mean, I love Ron Santo. I love Don Kessinger. I mean, it was Jim Hickman, Don Young, Billy Williams, Randy Huntley, Fergie Jenkins, Joe Peppertone. I mean, these were really great characters. Just Glenn Beckert. I mean, it was the whole lineup. To this day, I can still mimic their stance and their swing.
Betts walks, and now the bases are loaded. And this is the second straight time Boyarsky has been at the plate with the bases loaded and nobody out. He delivered a sacrifice fly to left in the second inning, plating Jake Brodt. So he's got a chance to stake his claim to the MVP award for this game with a big blow here against Daniels.
I'd love to see pandemonium reign here.
That would be nice. Breaking ball fouled back by the young man from Perth, Australia, one of 8 countries represented in the Midwest League All-Star Game. This could be a very important signing for the Tigers. He was signed as an undrafted free agent in 2016, and he has had a great year with West Michigan. 10 home runs, 43 RBI. He's 3rd in the league in average hitting, .317. Look at some Tiger fans here at Four Winds Field. All are welcome.
They might see better baseball here.
They're in a bit of a rebuilding mode up there in the Motor City.
That's right.
1-2 now to Boyarsky. Well, Cub fans around here, it's just been an amazing few years. The affiliation of the Cubs to South Bend. 5 years ago, the Cubs win the World Series in 2016 and really start turning things around in 14.
Drop.
Line drive to left, caught by Dennis. Tagging, throw to the plate.
Yeah.
And there's another sacrifice fly for Boyarsky as Brodt scores, and the East now back in front by a score of 3-2.
Yeah, only 1 out. That's great.
But really, you couldn't have asked, as an owner of the South Bend Cubs, a perfect time to gain the affiliation with the Cubs really coming on strong. At about 14, you could see what was building.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, we were excited just to have, a very popular brand come to South Bend like the Cubs, because, the Diamondbacks are a great organization, but there weren't a lot of Diamondback fans outside the state of Arizona, certainly not in South Bend. And when the Cubs came here, when they cut the deal with us in September 2014, it was very exciting. But then 15 was a great season, and then, making it to the NCLS, and then setting up the stage for 2016, it was magnificent.
Maybe you can share a little insight as we have a pitching change in this All-Star game with the East out in front of the West 3-2. How long of a process was it from start to finish when you started talking to the Cubs about that affiliation?
Well, according to baseball rules, there's a very small window to speak to a major league team about coming here. But we knew we wanted to attract someone special. So even before that window, we knew that we had to replace the artificial turf here and go to natural turf. That was an absolute must. Secondly, having been to Mesa and seen what the Cubs had done there with their performance center, I thought that anyone that would come here would be attracted to our performance center. So we built a state-of-the-art, baseball performance center for the best, pitching machines and batting facility, and baseball-centric fitness center, and a place that players could go and hone their skills. And then on top of that, we needed a clubhouse that was second to none, and really renovate that and get that ready. So we were ready to attract a big brand name to the extent that someone was available. But we knew these were things that we would have to do. So we made those investments and started making those investments. And then when I think the Cubs affiliation came open with Kane County, ours expired with the Diamondbacks. We waited for the window, and we spoke to the Cubs. They had an interest to at least explore it. And when they came out here and saw what our plans were, what was underway, they were very impressed.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, the rest is history, and here they are.
Logan Gillespie is the new pitcher for the Western Division. He's a Wisconsin timber rattler. 6'2", 220 pounds, 22 years old, from Bakersfield, California. Signed as a free agent by the Brewers back in 2018. A .390 ERA for Gillespie this year with the Timber Rattlers. And he takes over with his Western Division, trailing the East 3-2, bottom of the 4th inning. And the East, 2 runners on, 1 out. I'm Darren Pritchett with Andrew Berlin, owner of the South Bend Cubs, part owner of the Chicago Cubs. We've talked about the renovations here. How about the renovations at Wrigley Field the last couple of years? How much more enjoyable is it for Cub fans now to go to that ballpark?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, all the things they did structurally that you can't even see makes the building better and safer. But even with the concourses being opened up, the bathrooms being improved, the concessions being improved, the kitchens improved to offer better food choices, the new clubs that were created, the Subterranean 1914 Club, the bunker suites, redoing all the suites upstairs. It was a full-scale rebuild. It was, almost $750 million to get it all, and the plaza outside, and all the improvements outside for the neighbors. It was lovely how the Cubs treated their neighbors and the neighborhood around them. It wasn't just for the fans, but they were really good to the neighborhood, and that speaks volumes about the character of the organization, the character of the ownership.
Roberto Alvarez at the plate, a Bowling Green hot rod. He falls behind, no balls and 2 strikes versus Gillespie. Here in the bottom of the 4th inning, each team has scored 2 runs in this frame. Well, I would assume Craig Kimbrell is in the fold for the Cubs. He'll be the closer soon. The Cubs, if they need something at the trade deadline, they'll be very active as always.
Listen, they're very opportunistic, and they have the resources, but at the same time, there are a few moving pieces that made the Kimbrell Kimbrell purchase necessary and possible. But listen, I think we have a lot of the building blocks we need now. I think for the folks that are in a slump, and slumps come and go, but I think if they can successfully get out of their heads and play to the capabilities and the talents that they have, this team can't be stopped.
I think
Milwaukee's going to be tough.
Sure.
There's no question.
It's been remarkable to watch Cole Hamels pitch like he used to when he was 23 years old with the Philadelphia Phillies. He has been so good since he joined the Cubs in that deal with the Rangers last year. Ball hit back to the mound, handled by Gillespie, and he throws out Alvarez for the 2nd out. So it's 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs. And here comes Fort Wayne's Xavier Edwards, the best average in the Midwest League. He is 1 for 2 tonight. I think Pat Hughes, the unbelievable voice of Cubs baseball on the radio, should bring in all of us radio and TV hacks from the affiliates and do a little presentation on how to broadcast a game. I'd love to learn from him. There is no one I'd rather listen to more than Pat Hughes. He is such a wonderful storyteller.
Well,
he's a treasure.
He's been doing it for a long time, too. But, Darren, I think you're doing a great job.
I moved from Illinois, so I'd have a chance to win an award somewhere. Fly ball to left field. The ball is caught. The inning is over. Andrew, thank you so much for all you do for our community, and congratulations on this event.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Andrew Berlin of the South Bend Cubs. We're back with more All-Star Game action next on My Michiana WCIU. What a great crowd in downtown South Bend for the 55th Midwest League All-Star Game. This is a packed house for this Midsummer Classic, the 55th installment. The first was held in 1964, Davenport, Iowa, modern Woodman Park. The South beat the North by a score of 6-3. I'm Darren Pritchett. Welcome back to our All-Star Game coverage on My Michiana and WCIU. The new pitcher for the East is going to be Trey Cumbie of Bowling Green. Chris Williams at the plate for the West. And now I can introduce the president of the Midwest League. I believe this is year number 5.
Correct.
If I'm not mistaken, we welcome South Bend's very own Dick Nussbaum to the broadcast. Mr. President, how are you?
I'm great, Darren. This is a big day for me. A couple times I've been able to sit next to you, for a little period of time.
Yes.
This is good.
Yes.
This is a good day.
Yeah, you had the choice of sitting next to Sandberg and me, and you chose me. I'm honored.
Andrew was going to make sure that he got to sit next to Ryan, and he should sit next to Ryan, so that's all right.
Well, as someone that's been in this town for a long time, it's been 30 years since this great event was in South Bend. What is your reaction to what you've witnessed tonight?
I'm over the moon, happy about everything. There's a lot of people here in town from out of town, including Governor Holcomb, who's walking around at the concourse, and he's got his big smile on his face. So I think we've impressed him. That's a good thing to have Indianapolis politicians remember that there's something 120 miles north of the Motor Speedway.
No question. Chris Williams, a part of Home Run Derby last night at the plate. He had 40 home runs in 3 years at Clemson. He's got plenty of pop. And he's ahead 3-0
We've got a lot of good college graduate or college players. I don't know whether they've all graduated or not, but that are playing tonight.
I noticed the most recent draft, a lot more college kids were being taken. There's a first pitch, or I should say a strike on 3-1 now to Williams. But it's amazing to watch the draft. The first 10 rounds, it's a puzzle.
Yeah.
You take some college kids to save some signing bonus money to throw at maybe a high school kid, try to get him to sign. It is quite the process. Swing and a miss by Williams, 3-2. So what is the state of the union of the Midwest League as we sit here today at the Midwest League All-Star Game?
Well, tonight it's really good. Actually, we had a decent first half considering the weather issues, and I know that they'll make it up in the second half. So, you know, the metric is 4 million fans, and we'll see if we get it.
Here's a pitch a little low, and it's a walk to Williams to start the 5th inning.
The home plate umpire is Ben Rosen, who is the #1 ranked umpire in the Midwest League. So he's going to get moved probably sometime early in the second half.
So there are umpire rankings. I did not know that.
Yes, there are, 1 to 30. Yep, I just got them. So, and that's how they move. You know, you got to be ranked to move up.
Austin Dennis now at the plate, and he takes a strike from this left-hander. Bowling Green, 8 representatives in the game, including Cumbie.
Bowling Green has a lot of good prospects, and they were, at the time the voting was done, they were a little higher in the standings, so I think that helped them a little bit.
Ground ball to third, tough chance. The ball rolls foul past the manager, Eric Almonte of the Peoria Chiefs. Well, 16 teams in the Midwest League, 8 in the East, 8 in the West. South Bend, of course, has been such a staple now in this league, going back to, what, 1989?
88.
89 was the All-Star game. And we've went through the White Sox affiliation, the Diamondbacks, and now what a great marriage with the Chicago Cubs.
This is really a Cub town.
There's a long drive towards center. Should be routine, though, for Benson, the first-round pick of the Indians. He squeezes for out number 1.
That's where fly balls go to die, right, Darren? That's a big center field.
Well, for people not familiar with this ballpark until just a couple of months ago, you had to hit it over the batter's eye for it to be a home run in this ballpark. And it's 405 to center. Now a yellow line from foul pole to foul pole has now made it a whole lot easier to understand what's a home run in this ballpark.
Yeah, but there aren't going to be a lot of home runs hit in center field anyway.
Griffin Conine of Lansing did it a couple of days ago.
Did he really?
He hit it over the right side of the batter's eye.
Oh.
Only the second one that I have seen since I started calling games in 2015.
Well, the only one I saw was not in a minor league game. It was a Notre Dame game many, many years ago. Joe Binkowitz, who was a big first baseman for Notre Dame, is probably an orthopedic surgeon now or something. He was going to go to medical school. But he was quite a hitter, and he hit it right over the center field batter's eye.
Jeremy Pena in the ball game for Terang, and a stolen base for Chris Williams with 1 out in the 5th inning. Pena from the Quad Cities River Bandits, hitting .299 with a .391 on base, 4 homers, 38 RBI. He's got 15 stolen bases for the Astros affiliate.
Amazing first half for the River Bandits. They played 18 home games. Everything else was on the road.
Due to the flooding of the Mississippi River, there was I would call it an iconic picture, sad but iconic, an overhead shot showing just the ballpark. No water, and everything else around the park was flooded.
And it's an amazing thing what they've done in Davenport is this flood control system that keeps that dry. That keeps the whole thing dry. It's an island. And they've learned from this flood, and I think that they'll be able to. He broke his bat.
Weak roller to third, double clutching and throwing late, and that's going to be.
It's got to be a base hit.
Probably a base hit. I would agree with you, Mr. President. Miguel Vargas had the chance over at third. And it's going to be first and third, 1 out. How about Pena played at the University of Maine?
The Black Bears.
That's a hockey school.
That's right.
A couple of national championships in the 90s. Paul Correa, the star of the Black Bears back then. And Jim Montgomery, who is now the head coach of the Dallas Stars, a part of that program. But Maine baseball, how about that? Here is Buddy Kennedy, his first at bat of the night.
Speaking of college baseball teams that begin with M, how about the Michigan Wolverines, huh?
Had they lost to Illinois in an elimination game in the Big Ten tournament, they would not have made the NCAA tournament. One of the last 4 in, and now they're
Wow.
1 win away from the championship round.
Right.
Amazing.
And look, I'm not this is a hard thing to say for Domer, but I'm pulling for him. I really am. I'd love it if they won it.
I mean, you had Michigan and Florida State in a winner's bracket game,
Yeah.
and both were not supposed to be there.
That's right.
Mike Martin, his final year head coach of Florida State.
I don't know how they got in because they really weren't a very good Florida State team this year, and beat LSU on 2 games they should have lost. Paul Maneri was just pulling his whatever hair he had left, he was pulling it out. It was a shame because I love Paul Maneri, and I was hoping he'd get to the
I do too.
College World Series.
Buddy Kennedy, Diamondbacks prospect, plays for Kane County. His first at bat, takes low, and it's 2-2. I don't want to put you on the spot,
Here we go.
but
Yeah, you're sure you do.
it's
Go
my
ahead.
job. I want
Go
to do
ahead.
it once in a while.
Go ahead.
Just your thought as a former Notre Dame baseball player, what you would look for in a new head coach. The Irish have a national search going on for their new baseball coach.
Well, I think that anytime
Ground ball to third.
Uh-oh.
Vargas goes to second. Out there. Edwards to first. Out there. We'll finish that
okay,
thought
okay.
after a break. And the East turns 2. We go to the bottom of the 5th. 3-2 East over the West on My Michiana WCIU in Chicago. Well, one of the great traditions, South Bend Cub games, the vegetable race, and Mushroom wins for the first time in a couple of years with some assistance from Stu and Swoop. But a monumental moment in the Midwest League All-Star Game, Mr. President. I don't know what else to say. Dick Nussbaum, president of the Midwest League, in the booth.
When stuff like this happens, Darren, there's appeals to the president's office to have something overturned. So I expect that there may be something coming here.
Well,
right?
he
What do you-
was suspended.
Why do you think? Is that right?
Yeah, he was suspended a few years ago for apparently using some substances that helped him in the race.
Oh, okay. Well, he used 2 mascots to help him in this race.
All right, Josh Winder from Cedar Rapids, a 22-year-old from Richmond, Virginia, on to pitch for the West. 7th-round pick of the Twins back in 2018. I'm Darren Pritchett. Welcome back to our All-Star Game coverage from Four Winds Field in downtown South Bend. Before the double play, you were talking about the vacancy in the Notre Dame baseball coaching office.
Well, I think in terms of Mick Aoki, I think he really tried hard. I just think it's a real battle for our baseball program to compete in the ACC, and I think we did compete. We just didn't get over the hump. So I first of all I liked Mick, and I thought he worked as hard as he could work, and in fact he's still around running the baseball camp. So
Awesome.
that shows what kind of a man Mick Aoki is.
Here
but-
is Franco, takes the first pitch strike.
But it's a cruel business, right? I mean, you gotta put the W's up, and I think there are, from what I know, and don't have any inside information, but from time to time people tell me things. There's some interest with some pretty good people, so I'm looking forward to the decision that's going to be made, and I know that Jack Swerbrook and Jody Sadler, who's the administrator for the program, you always keep certain people in mind. So they're in a search right now, and I have every confidence they will get a good coach. I hope that the baseball program, although it's not really a revenue-generating sport, will get the attention it deserves, and I have confidence that Jack Swerbrook will do that.
Franco, a swing and a miss. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 18-year-old 0 for 2 tonight. Well, speaking of Fighting Irish baseball, 1973, Dick Nussbaum, the leading hitter for the Fighting Irish at .333.
Had a good year that year. That was a fun year for me. I was kind of a streak hitter, and I came out of the spring trip pretty hot.
And a swing and a miss. Franco down on strikes. Wander gets his first strikeout.
And it made me think maybe there'd be a future for me in baseball, but that didn't happen. But that's okay. I ended up right where I should have ended up, and I'm a lucky guy, Darren. That's all I can say.
You grew up a big baseball fan. You're the biggest baseball fan I know. Your son is involved
Yeah.
in baseball. This
Yeah.
is kind of a dream for you, running the Midwest League and just being able to enjoy the great game of baseball.
It's stealing, Darren. That's what it is.
Now we just need to update your team's World Championship resume, and then everything would be perfect.
Yeah. I
Grew up a
don't-
Pittsburgh Pirate fan.
I don't know what's going to happen there, Darren. I'm a little discouraged. So
Will Benson at the plate.
Yeah.
He's 0 for 2 this evening. Leading home run hitter the last 2 years in the Midwest League. He's going to be promoted after this game.
Yeah.
2 captains are off to advanced A, Freeman and Benson.
So we got a mixed bag with Benson here. He wasn't permitted to participate in the home run derby, but I got to give the Indians credit. They kept allowing him to play in this game, so I thank them for that.
Well, he has changed his swing. A lot of work has gone into it. Struck out a lot last year, had a low average, and this year hitting .272. First round pick out of Atlanta, Georgia, and it's going to be interesting to see how his career unfolds. Having a lot of success this year.
Do you have any idea where he's going? Is he going to go to Akron? Is he going to go to their high A?
High A.
High A. Okay.
Tyler Freeman as well, a second-round
Okay.
pick of the Indians, who looks like a great prospect. You hate to think about these things, but Francisco Lindor is going to be one of those high-priced players the
Right.
Indians have to figure out, can we afford him?
Right.
And on down the line, Freeman could be an alternative. Big cut by Benson and a foul ball on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball by Josh Winder of Cedar Rapids.
I think the Tampa Bay Rays have maintained their competitiveness simply by having a pipeline of great players. I mean, it's just incredible.
The list is amazing.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss by Benson. Back-to-back strikeouts for Winder. I know this Bowling Green team just
Right.
lost their pitcher McClanahan, who was supposed to be in this
Right,
game.
right.
Liberator, a first-round pick, just like McClanahan is still with Bowling Green. He's having great success. And Brennan McKay, the two-way player out of Louisville, I think he was just in a AAA game
Right.
against the Yankees affiliate with Stanton and Judge, and he struck out Stanton on 3 curveballs.
Well, he's from Pittsburgh.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he my brother coaches baseball. My youngest brother in Western Pennsylvania, and his kids actually played with Brendan for a couple of years, and very, very fine young man. Had great ability as a hitter, and
We have a pitching change for this Western Division. Winder, quick work, a couple of strikeouts against the number 2 and 3 hitters in the East lineup.
but how about Louisville, huh? They got quite a program going down there.
It's Adam Hill on the mound, by the way, from Wisconsin.
Yep.
Yeah, they were playing today in the College World Series. I did not end up seeing the final. They were taking on Auburn today in an elimination game. That's on my bucket list, to get to Omaha for the College World Series.
I've been there.
Did you go when the Irish win in 02?
I did. I saw that. They'll probably never let me go back because I saw the 2 losses. But and it was in the old field, Rosenblatt. But it is fabulous. You got to go.
Well, I want to get to Pittsburgh for a Pirate game,
Yeah.
too. That ballpark just looks stunning on television.
It is. It's just it's a smaller ballpark.
Yeah.
But when the sun goes down in the city, the Golden Triangle lights up beyond the center field fence. It's just breathtaking.
It's a great sports town. Steelers,
Yeah.
the Penguins have taken off.
Yep.
And of course the old Buccos, the We Are Family Buccos. I'm not sure about those all yellow uniforms sometimes.
They were really bad. And actually, I'm not really crazy about the Irish all green uniforms. Those are, if anybody asked, I would be in favor of moving those on. And
If we're going to talk fashion, I kind of like the old powder blues are back from the 80s.
for the Cardinals.
Cardinals are wearing
Yeah,
those. I think
okay.
some other teams, the Rays have mixed that in a little bit
Yeah.
through the years.
The Royals had the powder blue too.
The Royals as well,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, there's some powder blue tonight. Look at the East.
Yes, on the sleeves.
Yeah, these uniforms are very nice. I mean, again, the South Bend Cubs as hosts went all out. In terms of, and if you look at the uniforms, their sleeves have the logo of the team they came from. these kids are going to get these jerseys. So
Commemorative bats today at the
yeah,
luncheon.
Right. And I told Nick Brown, "Where's my bat, man?" So I'm hoping he heard me.
Holsizer at the plate. He swings and misses. He's 1 for 2 in this ball game. A powerful Great Lake Loon outfielder, member of the Dodgers organization. John Shoemaker, the manager of Great Lakes, he's been doing this a long time. He's got the captaincy on his jersey. Right. He's known as the captain in the Dodgers organization for development.
This time last year, I think they were 20 games below 500. This year, they're 20 games above 500. How about a swing like that?
They started the second half like 1-16. They changed a whole bunch of personnel, and they made the playoffs.
That's right. It was a great coaching job. I remember they were here, and I went down and spoke with John. And it was what it was at that point, and he was going to turn. He says, "Just watch us," and I did, and look at what they did. Yeah.
Well, Holsizer fouled the ball off his foot, and his backswing caught the catcher in the left hand. I'm so disappointed about one thing.
What's that?
Because I knew you were going to be in the booth for the All-Star game this year,
yeah.
And I was so excited to do my favorite call that I've done for 4 years on South Bend Cub games. On a foul ball, someone just acquired a Dick Nussbaum signed baseball. And your name is no longer on the baseball.
Yeah, that's
I'm disappointed.
It's a little disappointing. Well, economics. Rawlings was going to jack the prices up if you kept the name of the little president. I'm the little president, okay? But so most of the lower level leagues now have a Pat O'Connor ball.
All right. Well, I'm disappointed.
Well, it was a matter of, okay, is Andrew gonna pay more money for the balls, or to keep Dick Nussbaum, or and it was a pretty overwhelming no. Okay, it wasn't just Andrew; it was everybody. That's okay.
And the baseball fan in me says, "There's so much money in baseball."
Well, not as much at this level. You turn around and they're all throwing them in the stands. It's
3-2 high and a walk to Holsizer with 2 outs in the 5th. And Jake Brote will bat for the Eastern Division.
Darren, I bought some. I still have some.
Good
okay,
for you.
So I'll
I
get
have
you
a couple.
I'll get you some. All right.
I just wanted to do my favorite call in front of you,
Well,
but I just didn't get to do it.
I appreciate that. You're one of there's 1 or 2 people that know that, and there's 300 million that don't. So thank you very much for caring. All right.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Well, it's been.
My wife's upset about it. I can tell you that right now.
I'm sure.
So, yeah.
The grandkids?
Oh well, they still don't really know because they've still got some balls. So I haven't broken that to them yet.
Okay. Broad is 2 for 2 in this ball game, representing the Lansing Lugnuts. They hosted the All-Star game last year. We had a walk-off base hit by the East.
That was a great moment in the history of Dick Nussbaum's presidency, and I'll tell you why in a minute.
And it was a hit by Montrell Marshall of Dayton,
who was the most valuable player, and he deserved it because if he had not gotten that hit, the game would have ended in a tie, and there would have been 9,000 people booing the president of the Midwest League.
I've heard what we're doing tonight if we go to extra innings.
Yep, and that's
a home run derby.
Yes, that's right. We're going to have a winner, okay? We're going to have a winner tonight. And, you've seen it. The pitchers are being hurried in and out. They've got pitch counts, and that's, the last thing in the world we want is somebody to get hurt in an all-star game. So the pitching is going to get exhausted. And
I was hoping and praying you were going to say, had the game ended in a tie, next year the game's going to mean something, and the winner of the game is going to have home field advantage in the championship round.
Well,
there's a towering pop-up. That's going to be played by the shortstop, and the inning is over. Mr. President, a pleasure as always.
Darren.
Thank you for what you do for our community in the Midwest League.
Well, thank you for what you do for our league. You're a great broadcaster, Darren.
That's Dick Nussbaum. It is 3-2 East, the Midwest League All-Star Game on My Michigan and WCIU. Beautiful night for baseball in downtown South Bend, Indiana. The Midwest League All-Star Game from Four Winds Field. I'm Darren Pritchett. Thanks to all our guests for joining us the last few innings. Ryan Sandberg, Andrew Berlin, and Dick Nussbaum. Good all-star game right now unfolding. The East out in front of the West 3-2. The East out hitting the West 6-4. Caleb Sampin is the new pitcher for the Eastern Division. He represents the Bowling Green Hot Rods. Sampin, an Indiana native from Brownsburg, Indiana, acquired by the Rays in a trade with the LA Dodgers earlier this year. Trey Dawson will bat from the Quad Cities River Bandits, and a check swing foul. Trey Dawson played at the University of Kentucky, 15th round pick in 2018 of the Astros. He started his college career at LSU. Then went to Chipola Junior College before settling in at Kentucky. Won a junior college national championship in 2017, and he got hit in the front left elbow, it looked like, by a 91-mile-an-hour fastball from Sampin, and the leadoff man is on for the West in the 6th inning. Good news is Dawson is smiling. And not quite sure where he took that fastball. Looks like somewhere in the left arm. Jesus Lujano is up next from the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. First pitch down low from Sampin. Lujano, left-handed batter. Takes up in the zone another 91-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 2 balls and no strikes. A lot of changes for the Eastern Division. Defensively here as we get the 6th inning underway. Foul ball off the bat of this left-handed batter from the Brewers organization, who is hitting .272 with no homers and 25 RBI. A 20-year-old from Venezuela. We've got South Bend Cubs infielder Andy Weber now playing second base. He will hit in the leadoff spot. Foul to the left. Tyler Freeman from the Lake County Captains will now hit second. He replaces Wander Franco at shortstop. The new center fielder is Grant Witherspoon from Bowling Green. He'll bat third. He replaces Will Benson. Dylan Paulson from Great Lakes is now playing first base and batting fifth. Line drive to right, and the catch made by Boyarski. That's the first out of the 6th inning. Nick Podcool, who played at Notre Dame, a Lansing lugnut, he takes over for Vargas at third base. He will hit 6th. Pavel Manzanero of Dayton will hit 7th. He takes over for Chris Betts. Those are the changes for the East. Cesar Salazar from Quad Cities will hit with a runner at first base, 1 out. The East leads the West 3-2 in the top of the 6th. Salazar hitting .245, 3 homers, 22 RBI. Couldn't stop his swing. That's strike 1. Salazar, a 7th round pick of the Astros in 2018 out of the University of Arizona. Was a first-team All Pac-12 selection with the Wildcats in 2017. 3 years with Arizona, hit .301 with a .379 on-base percentage. He was born in Mexico, but played his high school baseball in Tucson, Arizona. Infield and outfield straight away, which is a rarity in today's game with all the shifting. There's a line drive heading toward the Budweiser Picnic Garden. A foul ball off the bat of Salazar. Caleb Sampin, originally drafted by the Dodgers in 2018, the 20th round out of Wright State. In January, Sampin was traded by the Dodgers to the Rays for pitcher Jamie Schultz. The next from Sampin. Off his glove, the ball's going to roll into right field. A base hit for Salazar. And it's going to be first and third, 1 out for the West as they try to at least tie this game in the 6th inning. So Dawson goes first to third on the ricochet base hit. Ball right off the mid of Sampen. And with Weber going over to cover second base, a lot of room for that baseball to roll into right field. Here is Delvin Perez, Peoria Chiefs shortstop. And the first pitch is a curve up and in. Perez, a first-round pick of the St. Louis Cardinals in 2016. Now 21 years old, 6'3", 175. His next pitch. Taken for a strike, 1-1. Perez was drafted out of the International Baseball Academy in Puerto Rico. 23rd overall pick by the Redbirds back in 2016. Swings and misses at a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. This is Perez's 4th season of professional baseball, and for the first time playing in the Midwest League. The left side of the Peoria infield, all first-round picks, Perez and Nolan Gorman. And Perez strikes out swinging, a huge K for Sampen. So Sampen sets down Perez with some good old hard country fastball on the inner half. So now it's Sampen versus Gabe Snyder batting for the first time tonight. Snyder from the Cedar Rapids Colonels, 6'5", 235, 24 years old, from Millersburg, Ohio, hitting .280, 5 homers, 25 RBI. First pitch low. The pitcher, Sampen, one of 3 players in this game born in the Hoosier State. Sampen from Brownsburg. Riley Thompson, who pitched in the second inning for the East from the South Bend Cubs, was born in Evansville. There's a line bullet foul heading toward the right field corner. And also Nick Podcool from Lansing, who played at Notre Dame. He grew up in Cherville. So the state of Indiana with 3 representatives in tonight's game. 2 Midwest League teams from the Hoosier State, South Bend and Fort Wayne, playing Parkview Field, affiliated with the San Diego Padres. Sampen just missed inside. It's 2-1 to Snyder.
There's Podcool.
Look at Nick Podcool, played at Notre Dame, had a career .400 on-base percentage playing for the Fighting Irish. Foul back by the left-handed hitting Snyder. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. So, big opportunity for the West. They had first and third, 1 out. Now it's first and third, 2 outs. The East leads 3-2, top of the 6th inning. Snyder hitting in the 7 hole. He has taken the place of Brady Whalen. Breaking ball, hit foul. And we'll do it again at 2-2. Great crowd, great atmosphere in downtown South Bend. This has been a highly successful couple of days. Home run derby last night, the game tonight. Hard shot, Weber knocks it down in self-defense, picks up the baseball, and throws out Snyder, and the inning is over, and Sampen hangs a 0. To the bottom of the 6th, 3-2 East on My Michiana and WCIU. 55th Midwest League All-Star game is in the bottom of the 6th inning. The East out in front of the West 3-2. I'm Darren Pritchett. Hope you're enjoying the action tonight on My Michiana and in the Chicagoland area on WCIU. 7,464 in attendance tonight for this All-Star game at Four Winds Field. Robinson Pena is the new pitcher for the West. He is a Burlington Bee from the LA Angels organization. 20 years old from the Dominican Republic, 6'4", 190. 13 games, 8 starts. He is 4-2 with a save and a 3.88 earned run average. 53 1/3 innings, 37 hits. He has walked 36, and he has struck out 63 Opposing batters hitting 193 against this right-hander, Robinson Pena. And up first for the Eastern Division, from the University of Notre Dame, Lansing Lugnut, Nick Podcool. Podcool played his high school baseball at Andrean. Perfect game ranked Podcool as the number 2 ranked shortstop coming out of high school, and grew up a big Chicago Cub fan, and takes a fastball high for ball 1. Podcool at Notre Dame hit .296 with a .410 on base percentage. Takes a strike, 1-1. With the Lugnuts, Podcool hitting .254, a great on base percentage, .369, a couple of long balls, and 20 runs batted in. And he'll take inside, it's 2-1. The East out hitting the West, 6-5. It is 3-2 East as we play in the bottom of the 6th inning. Well played baseball game, no errors in the contest. And there's a swing and a miss by the right-handed hitting Podcool. It's 2-2. Podcool hitting 6th in the East lineup. He takes over for Vargas, who went 2 for 2 with an RBI and a full count. Manzanero from Dayton on deck, and then scheduled to hit next would be Boyarski from West Michigan. And the payoff pitch is headed home. Breaking ball misses outside, and a leadoff walk to Podcool. That'll bring up Pavel Manzanero, one of 2 catchers on the Eastern Division roster. He is from Venezuela, signed by the Reds all the way back in 2012. 23 years old, 6'3", 236. He's hitting .265 for the Dragons, the Reds affiliate in the Midwest League. 6 home runs, 27 driven in. Tied for the team lead in home runs with 6. His first pitch of the night is a strike. Manzanero had a big month of May. Hit .304, 2 homers, and 12 runs batted in. Podcool at first base as Manzanero takes outside. The Western Division right now, they've got Dennison left, Kennedy in center, and Loyano in right. Great block of that pitch in the dirt. There is Loyano out there in right field representing the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. They're going to have a name change coming up on June the 20th in Appleton. The 2-1 up high. I'm not making this up. They're normally known as the Timber Rattlers, but they're going to have, I guess, a dairy theme. They're going to be known as the Wisconsin Udder Tuggers on June the 20th. There is a symbol that is classic of a cow, and you'll just have to see it for yourself. Manzanero swings and misses, and it's a full count. It's not fake news. That's what they're changing their name to. Great Lakes on Wednesdays at home, they changed their name to the Camels. A team in Midland, Michigan. They go with the Camels on Wednesdays. There's actually a story behind it. A few years ago, they were way behind in the 9th inning. It was a night in which they had animals at the ballpark. They trotted out a camel, I guess on the concourse or on the field, and they came back and won, and they've had a camel mascot ever since, as Manzanero spoils a good pitch. They've got a mascot that is a part of their group that runs around the field. And on Wednesdays, they're the Great Lakes Camels. West Michigan has changed their name. Bowling Green, I think they were changing their name last year or 2 years ago. The Bootleggers. Pitch low and away, and a walk to Manzanero. 2 on, nobody out for the Eastern Division. They lead 3-2 in the 6th. And Boyarsky will hit again. Does not have an official at bat in the game. A couple of sacrifice fly and 2 RBI for the native Australia, Boyarsky. Takes high. His first 2 at bats, he was at the plate with the bases loaded, nobody out, and delivered those sacrifice fly. Podcool at second, Manzanero at first, nobody out for the East. Fastball is hammered to the backstop. 1-1. The South Bend Cubs used to be affiliated with the White Sox. They were the South Bend White Sox, which morphed into the South Bend Silverhawks. The Silverhawk, an old Studebaker model. The Studebaker plant very near the ballpark. Swing and a miss by Boyarsky, 1-2. From the White Sox, South Bend became affiliated with the Diamondbacks. And then in 2015, the switch to the Chicago Cubs. And Boyarsky might have swung at ball to the fastball near the outside corner. And there's a strikeout for Robinson Pena. And it looks like Boyarsky did extend the strike zone on a lively fastball from this right-hander of the Burlington Bees. Ryan Gold will bat from the Lansing Lugnuts. He hit for the cycle for Lansing earlier this year. He became the 7th Lugnut to hit for the cycle. And he takes a first pitch strike on a slider. Ryan Gold hitting .244. The on base at .322, a pair of home runs and 24 driven in. He hit for the cycle against Dayton April 18th. Fouls off the next pitch. Gold played 3 years of high school baseball in New Jersey before moving to South Carolina. Was drafted by the Blue Jays, 2016 27th round out of Carolina Forest High School. Gold from Surfside Beach, South Carolina. He'll get another 0-2 pitch. More bullpen activity down the left field line for the Western Division. The goal of both managers to get every pitcher available into the game. 3-2 East, 6th inning. They're looking for more. And Gold swings and misses and strikes out. Back-to-back Ks for Robinson Pena. And here comes the South Bend Cubs. Andy Weber, he'll get a nice ovation from the fans. Big roar from the fans here in South Bend for the University of Virginia product, Andy Weber. 5th round pick of the Chicago Cubs. And he'll have to wait as we are going to have a pitching change. The East leads the West 3-2 in the bottom of the 6th inning. We will see what Weber has to offer coming up next after a break. This is the Midwest League All-Star Game on My Michiana and WCIU. Chamber of Commerce night in downtown South Bend for the Midwest League All-Star Game. I'm Darren Pritchett. Hope you're enjoying the action on My Michiana and WCIU. Chicago Cubs prospect Andy Weber at the plate. He will face Blake Workman, the Kane County Cougars closer who has 5 saves so far this year. First pitch is low for ball 1. Weber hitting .263, 2 homers. He is 2nd on the Cubs in RBI with 32. 2 on, 2 out, 6th inning, 3-2 East. Home run cut by Weber. Andy, 2018 All-ACC performer and the MVP of the Virginia Cavaliers. His former head coach with Virginia, Brian O'Connor, was the pitching coach for Paul Maneri when he was the head coach of the Fighting Irish. Foul ball off the bat of Weber. It's 1-2. Back on May the 25th in this ballpark against West Michigan, Weber drove in a career-high 4 runs, had his first 4-hit game within the last week for South Bend. He got jammed, pop-up, shallow left field, and that ball is going to be caught. A good running catch by the Western Division's third baseman, Trey Dawson. We go to the 7th, and the Eastern Division leads the Western Division by a score of 3-2 on My Michiana and WCIU. Great view of the field from the Budweiser Picnic Garden at Four Winds Field in South Bend. I'm Darren Pritchett. Hope you're enjoying the action of the 55th installment of the Midwest League All-Star Game, and the East out in front of the West, 3-2. New pitcher into the ball game for Buddy Bailey's Eastern Division. It is Kobe Johnson representing the Lansing Lugnuts and the Toronto Blue Jays organization. He's a 23-year-old right-hander from Holiday, Florida. He was taken in the 30th round last year by Toronto. 1-5 with a 4.80 earned run average. Johnson is 23 years old, 6'4", 210 pounds. So away we go with the 7th inning. The Eastern Division had a walk-off win in the All-Star Game in Lansing last year. Look at Nico Holsizer from Great Lakes, a Dodger prospect. 15 home runs for Holsizer this year. Part of Home Run Derby last night, but he was ousted by the eventual champion, Chris Betts of Bowling Green, in the first round. So Kobe Johnson versus Chris Williams from Cedar Rapids. First pitch swinging, ground ball to short, routine play, and Mr. Williams is retired, 6-3. Routine play for Tyler Freeman of the Lake County Captains. Now it's Austin Dennis from Quad Cities. First pitch from Johnson misses away. Dennis is 0 for 2 in tonight's ball game, hitting .283 for the Astros affiliate in the Midwest League. The Florida native hacks one off the pitcher's glove, and that's going to be an infield hit for Austin Dennis, the second time the West has collected a hit off the pitcher's glove. So the tying run at first base with 1 out. That was a one-hopper. Johnson just could not corral it. And that gives Jeremy Pena from Quad Cities a chance to bat with a runner on base. Pena now in the leadoff spot. He is 1 for 1 in the ball game. Johnson comes set near the chin. And a fastball a little high. Ben Rosen, our crew chief and home plate umpire here tonight. And we've got bullpen activity now down the right field line for the Eastern Division. We have seen 2 South Bend Cub pitchers tonight, Riley Thompson and Braylon Marquez. Cam Sanders and Jeff Passantino also available. Pitch a little low, it gets away from Manzanero, not far enough for the runner to advance. It's 2-0 to Jeremy Pena. Manuel Alvarez of Lake County is the right-hander warming up in the East bullpen. 2-0 misses outside, and now it's 3-0 to Pena.
There's the two pitchers we were just talking about.
Jeff Passantino on the left. On the right, Riley Thompson has already pitched tonight. Passantino's a great story. 1,215. That was his selection number in the 2017 draft, the final pick of that draft, taken by the Chicago Cubs out of Lipscomb. And he is 13-1 in his minor league career. There's a 3-0 strike. Passantino has pitched as a starter with South Bend last year, a reliever this year. He has been rock solid. Has a great cutter, moves the ball around. Highly successful pitcher. Runner going. Meanwhile, it's a foul ball off the bat of Pena. And Dennis back to first. Got a Peoria Chief warming up in the Western Division bullpen. Meanwhile, Kobe Johnson on the hill, another 3-2. And a fastball fouled straight back. Good cut by Pena, hitting .299 for the River Bandits. Six hits aside as we play in the seventh. The East out in front of the West, 3-2. Dennis takes his lead off first, being held on by Paulson. Fastball and a swing and a miss. And there's a strikeout for Johnson. And there are 2 outs in the Western Division 7th inning. So the old Lansing Lugnut used the fastball, and Pena couldn't make contact. Just a hair late. Buddy Bailey back to the mound. Another pitching change, and Manuel Alvarez from the Indians organization next on the mound. We will take a break. We'll complete the 7th inning in a moment. 3-2 East on My Michiana and WCIU. Manuel Alvarez from the Lake County Captains, the new pitcher for the Eastern Division. He is 4-1 with a 3.00 earned run average. 6'3", 200 pounds, 23 years old, out of Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. He was signed by the Indians organization as an international free agent in 2017. This is Alvarez's second season in the Midwest League. Had 12 relief appearances in 2018. He comes on with 2 outs in the top of the 7th inning. His Eastern Division leads 3-2. Austin Dennis, the runner at first base, and Buddy Kennedy at the plate. Kennedy is 0 for 1 in the contest. He is batting in the 2-hole. Representing the Kane County Cougars and the Diamondbacks organization, Buddy Kennedy. Alvarez delivers, and a fastball strike. Buddy Kennedy is the grandson of former Major League Baseball player Don Money, who slugged 176 home runs for the Brewers and the Phillies. Originally committed to play baseball in college at North Carolina. Runner from first stealing, pop up, shallow right field. This is going to drop for a base hit for Kennedy. Runner at third will stop there. Dennis thought about coming home. Wide turn. It's going to be a base hit for Kennedy, and it's first and third, 2 outs for the West. That ball was popped up right side. No chance for the first baseman, Paulson, and Boyarski just couldn't get there. And now the West has a chance to tie it up and trade Dawson at the dish. Quad City River Bandit. 3 homers, 27 RBI for Dawson. First at bat for Dawson in this All-Star game. He's playing third base for the West. Dennis at third, Kennedy at first, 2 outs. Alvarez delivers. And there is a fastball hammered straight back. That ball go in the Pepsi Stadium Club? It might have. Pepsi Stadium Club in the upper portion of the home plate area. The windows open up wide so fans can enjoy the game. And that ball might have landed in that area. A little surprise for the spectators upstairs. Fastball low, 1-1. That fastball at 95 from Alvarez. The West now out hitting the East 7-6.
Going to Blake with the fountains.
Alvarez gets a new sign from Manzanero. A captain throwing to a dragon. Fastball away. Hitters count 2-1 for Trey Dawson. When the All-Star Game was last held in South Bend, 1989, this facility known as Stanley Kowaleski Stadium. Naming rights went to Four Winds Casino a few years ago. Runner from first is stealing, no throw, and it'll be second and third, 2 outs as Kennedy swipes second base. And it's a 3-1 count for Trey Dawson. Luyano on deck for the Western Division. So a big moment in the ballgame. East 3, West 2. The West second and third, 2 outs, and a 3-1 count for Dawson out of West Virginia. Played for Tri-City last year. The righty is ready, and Alvarez delivers. Up and in, ball 4, and the bases are loaded for the Western Division. Luyano, left-handed batter. 6 foot 176, 20 years old from Venezuela. He might hold the MVP trophy at the end of the night with a big hit here in the 7th. Alvarez works from the stretch, and he misses low for ball 1. There is nowhere to put Luyano. Infield, outfield, straight away for this left-handed batter. Next pitch. Strike called. Nathan Witt is warming up in the East bullpen. He's a right-hander from the Great Lakes Loons. But right now, it's up to Alvarez. Bases loaded, 2 outs. He's got a 1-1 count on Luyano. Outfield pretty shallow. Chopper to the second baseman, Weber. Quick pitch over to the shortstop, and the out is recorded. Weber from the South Bend Cubs tosses the ball to Freeman, and the inning is over, and the West strands the bases loaded. It is 3-2 East over the West on My Michiana and WCIU. Bottom of the 7th inning of the 55th Midwest League All-Star Game from Four Winds Field in downtown South Bend. I'm Darren Pritchett. Hope you're enjoying the action on My Michiana and WCIU in Chicago. We have a wonderful ballpark here in South Bend, and we are thrilled it's on display here tonight. Edgar Escobar on to pitch for the Western Division. From the Peoria Chiefs, 6'1", 220 pounds, a right-hander, 22 years old, out of Cuba. Signed by the St. Louis Cardinals as a non-drafted free agent in 2017, and he has been terrific coming out of the Chief bullpen, 1-0 with a 1.47 earned run average. Escobar on to pitch the 7th inning for the West. Tyler Freeman will lead off the frame for the East, a Cleveland Indians prospect, the number 3 prospect according to MLB Pipeline. Competitive balance round B selection of the Indians in 2017. He takes a hack and sends one to deep right field, and that ball's going to be caught just shy of the warning track. A running catch made for out number 1. And that was Luyano on the catch. First time batting tonight, it is Bowling Green's Grant Witherspoon. 262 with a 329 on base, 7 home runs, 29 RBI. Escobar to the plate, and he delivers a first pitch strike. Eric Marinez warming up in the West bullpen as Escobar deals. This is outside. Witherspoon, drafted out of Tulane, 4th round in 2018. 3 seasons with Tulane, hit .310 with 20 home runs. There's the strike, 1-2. Witherspoon, great high school athlete, an all-stater in baseball and basketball. He's from Littleton, Colorado. Foul ball back. We'll do it again at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nico Holsizer in the on-deck circle for the East. He has played the entire game so far. The righty Escobar winds and fires. And he gets a swing and a miss of Witherspoon. 2 outs.
We'll take a look at that strikeout.
So the native of Cuba set down the first 2. And a breaking ball up in the zone, but the Colorado native swung through that Uncle Charlie. And it's 2 outs, and here's Holsizer. The Pennsylvania native is 1 for 2 with a run scored. He's also walked. Plays his home games at beautiful Dow Diamond in Midland, Michigan. The Dow Chemical Plant off in the distance beyond the right field fence at Dow Diamond.
We'll roll out if he strikes him out. We'll roll out with it.
Swing and a miss by Holsizer. He's down on the count 0-1. He's a good old-fashioned player, no batting gloves. Great Lakes had a great first half. Eastern Division champions, managed by John Shoemaker. Quad Cities won the West. Lake County won the Eastern Division wild card. Burlington the West. Holsizer got jammed, and the ball will end up in the seats for a souvenir, and it's 1-2 to Holsizer. The players involved in this game will take home their jerseys. They got a commemorative bat from the South Bend Cubs earlier today. A lot of mementos for these guys for taking part in the Midwest League All-Star Game in downtown South Bend. These guys will get a day off tomorrow, and they go back to work. We start the second half on Thursday in the Midwest League. Breaking ball swung on and missed, and Escobar, a 1-2-3 inning with a couple of strikeouts for the Cardinals prospect. We head to the 8th inning, the East out in front of the West by a score of 3-2. This is the Midwest League All-Star Game on My Michiana and WCIU. Nathan Witt on to pitch the 8th inning for the Eastern Division, who leads the West by a score of 3-2. Witt, a Great Lake Loon, a Dodger prospect, 1-1 with a 3.68 earned run average. He's a 17th round pick of the Dodgers out of Michigan State University. Witt redshirted as a freshman in East Lansing and then underwent Tommy John surgery as a sophomore. As a junior, Witt, through 22 2/3 innings, had a 4.37 ERA. Then drafted by the Dodgers in the 17th round. So Nathan Witt will try to pick up a hold here in the 8th inning with the East leading by a tally of 3-2. Cesar Salazar will bat for the Western Division. Throws right, bats left. Quad Cities catcher out of Mexico, 7th round pick in 2018. It'll be Salazar, Perez, and Snyder for the West against Witt, who starts off. Salazar with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball for strike one. Witherspoon out in center for the Eastern Division as Witt delivers. Low 1-1. Well, the Bowling Green Hot Rods, including Witherspoon, they're going to get to stick around South Bend a little bit longer. Bowling Green will play at South Bend. A 4-game series starts on Thursday. So they arrive Sunday night. They will leave 8 days later. 2-1 to Salazar. He is 1 for 1 in the ball game. The West with 7 hits, the East with 6 base hits. Next pitch fouled off. Bowling Green and South Bend, with the rosters the way they are right now, would be the 2 favorites to earn playoff spots from the East in the second half. Bowling Green finished 3rd, South Bend 4th. The Cubs had a great first half, 37-31, but some great competition in the East in the first half. And now a full count on Salazar. The Cubs have a nucleus that should stay together for the most part for the second half. Brennan Davis, Cole Roederer, the 2 top outfield prospects in the Chicago Cubs system, both playing for South Bend as 19-year-olds. Line bullet to right, look out, folks on the grassy hill shy of the splash pad. Chris Morel, a 19-year-old third baseman, playing the hot corner for South Bend. There's a look at Andy Weber, normally the shortstop on this field, playing second base here tonight for the East. 3-2 hits Salazar, and he'll trot down to first. So the leadoff man is on for the West in the 8th inning, down by a run. And now Witt will face Delvin Perez. That pitch got Salazar in the front leg, right behind the knee. So now the Cardinals, Delvin Perez at the plate. His manager is in charge of the West, so it's an all-star game. I would assume Delvin will be swinging. In a regular season game, we might see a bunt here. Witt's first pitch. Ground ball to third, not hit hard. Could be 2 though. 5-4 and no 3 as the ball is thrown away, and Perez rounds first, heads to second. He will make it just before the throw by Paulson. So the Cubs tried to go around the horn, but the errant throw to first will result in an error, our first of the night.
Let's take a look at that.
Perez slow to get out of the box. He's had a great chance to turn 2, but Weber's throw was off the mark. Podkul, a pretty good throw to Weber to get the lead runner. So an E4 on the board. Tying run at second, 1 out, 8th inning. And here is Snyder from Cedar Rapids. Fouls one off to the left. Snyder played at Wright State, 21st round pick of the Twins in 2018. He was the 2018 Horizon League Player of the Year. He established school records for home runs with 44 and runs batted in 218. Perez stealing third. The throw goes in and out of the glove of Podkul. It rolls into left, and Perez scores the tying run. Manzanero's throw was pretty close to the bag. Podkul could not make the catch, and Delvin Perez steals third and scores on an error. And we are 3-3 in the 8th inning. Manzanero throwing from his knees. The ball near the glove of Podkul just as the cleats of Perez were going into third base, and Delvin Perez hops up and scores to tie this game at 3. Snyder takes outside.
You always have to take things too far, don't you?
1-2 the count on Snyder. The next pitch, way outside 2-2. The East bullpen is quiet here in the 8th. So, if this game is tied after 9 innings, there will not be extra innings. We will have a home run derby to decide the winner of this All-Star game. Pitch in the dirt, and now a full count on Snyder. So Chris Betts would be the leading candidate to hit for Buddy Bailey. He won home run derby last night with 24 long balls, including one that cleared the First Source Bank South Bend Cubs Performance Center. That's a story in itself. Now it's BP. It's not a real game, of course, but since that Performance Center was built in 2015, in a game only 2 balls have hit that facility on the fly as Snyder strikes out swinging. So it's 336 to the right field foul pole. It's probably a good 50, 60 feet to the Performance Center. Well, last night Betts hit it over the entire facility. We thought it might have landed on the roof, but people nearby said the ball completely flew over the building. We're going to have a pitching change, so we will take a break. We've got a 3-3 game in the 8th inning. It's the Midwest League All-Star game on My Michiana WCIU. Part of the new skyline in downtown South Bend, the Liberty Tower. New hotel there. The players and coaches stayed there during the festivities for the All-Star game over the last couple of days here in downtown South Bend. New pitcher for the Eastern Division from the Bowling Green Hot Rods. It is Easton McGee. McGee 4-2 with a 3.97 ERA. He is the tallest player in the Midwest League All-Star game at 6'7", 21 years old, out of Hopkinsville, Kentucky, a 4th-round pick of the Rays in 2016. 3-3 game, 8th inning. Chris Williams at the plate and a swing and a miss. The West just tied the game up a couple of moments ago. Delvin Perez stole third and scored on an errant throw. The error was charged to the catcher, Pavel Manzanero. Williams fouls one to the right, and it's 0-2. Jeff Passantino of the South Bend Cubs has grabbed a baseball in the East bullpen down the right field line. A righty throwing in the West bullpen. Working from the windup, it is the 6'7" McGee. He says, here you go, here's a fastball, and Williams pops it up, Paulson under it, and the first baseman makes the catch. A run for the West, and we are tied at 3 as we move to the bottom of the 8th inning on My Michiana and WCIU. This is a Beloit pitcher, 20. Marinez pitching, number 20. Number 20, Marinez pitching.
Marinez pitching. Not to be confused with marinara. That's a sauce. They might be throwing the sauce.
Matt, thanks for coming. Enjoy the game, all right? Thank you, Greg.
Congratulations to our Budweiser Bantam game.
Boy, oh boy.
30 back.
Who in the heck is batting? Oh.
And don't forget, it's the biggest fireworks show in Midwest League history. Following the game tonight, powered by First Source Bank, WNDU, and Southern Illinois Football. After the game, don't dare go away.
Music. 4, 3, Statement 5, 2, 1.
And we welcome you back to the Midwest League All-Star game in South Bend, Indiana. The game is 3-3 As we head to the bottom of the 8th inning, and there's a look at the new pitcher from the Beloit Snappers, the Oakland A's organization. It is Eric Marinez, 6'1", 23 years old, out of the Dominican Republic. He was signed by the A's as a non-drafted free agent in 2015, a 3.18 ERA and a record of 4-2. Dylan Paulson from Great Lakes will be our leadoff hitter in the bottom of the 8th inning. Paulson, 8 home runs, 41 RBI for the Dodgers affiliate. Marinez, first pitch of the evening. Fastball and foul to the left. Paulson played at USC, 13th round pick last summer of the Dodgers. Had a big year last year in the Pioneer League. Drove in 61 to lead the league. Second in walks with 42. Second in extra base hits with 33. Down to the count 0-2. Played 3 seasons for the Trojans. The next to the left-handed batter is up and in. Paulson, while playing for USC, had the chance to play at Dodger Stadium in the College Baseball Classic March of 2018 and hit a home run in a win over UCLA 3-2. Little did he know he would be drafted by the Dodgers. And here he is in the Midwest League All-Star game. He takes low, and it's 2-2. So Passantino looks like he will be in charge of the 9th inning. For the Eastern Division, representing the Chicago Cubs and the South Bend Cubs. And there's a swing and a miss by Paulson and a strikeout for the Beloit Snappers, Eric Marinez. And that pitch on the inner half, Paulson just couldn't make contact. Looked like the catcher was setting up away. 1 out in the 8th inning. Here is Nick Podcool. Andrean High School grad, 3 years at Notre Dame. Alvaro Sejas of the Peoria Chiefs warming up in the West bullpen as Podcool takes strike 1. Podcool walked in his plate appearance. Right-handed batter. And has to get out of the way of an inside fastball at a good old 95. There was a time in Major League Baseball where each team maybe had 1 or 2 guys that hit upper 90s. Now, everybody has a handful, including in the Midwest League. Podcool successfully checked his swing. It's 2-1. First base umpire, Thomas Burrell. Three our score, bottom of the 8th inning. And the next pitch, just outside. We've had a home run in the game from Herrera Encarnacion of Clinton, a 2-run shot in the 4th that put the West in front 2-1. That was short-lived as the East picked up 2 in the bottom of the 4th. RBI by Vargas and Boyarski. Podcool got a good fastball to hammer and fouled it straight back, 3-2. West tied it up at 3 on the stolen base by Perez. He swiped third and came home on the throwing error by the catcher, Manzanero. Both errors in the ball game in the top of the 8th. There's a good pitch right at the knees, outer half, and strike 3 called. Podcool retired by Marinez.
Take a look at that, ready.
That was a tough pitch. Knees, black of the plate. That's one you hope and pray the home plate umpire calls a ball. There is Manzanero. As a walk in tonight's game, Dayton Dragon, Cincinnati Reds prospect. Takes the first pitch outside, ball one. Dayton, within the last couple of years, have had some pretty good prospects come through. Nick Senzel, he was the number 2 overall pick a couple of years ago out of Tennessee. He's made it to the Reds. Manzanero chases a low breaking ball 1-1. Taylor Trammell, an outfielder, is knocking on the door of making it to the majors, a very talented outfielder. I believe he got banged up recently, but he'll probably be with Cincinnati by the end of the season. Reds in a very tough division, trying to rebuild and bring up young guys, the National League Central. With the Brewers and Cubs playoff ready, St. Louis borderline playoff contender, the Pirates, and then the Reds. The thing about the National League this year, you can't really point at any team that is tanking trying to lose. Now the Marlins have traded a lot of their stars away. They've got a lot of young guys on their team. The Giants are transitioning from the team that won 3 World Series in 6 years, trying to rebuild that franchise. Pitch low. You could argue the Marlins are as close as anybody to tanking. I mean, they're not adding any big-name free agents. Derek Jeter, the Yankee great, in charge of the Marlins now. 3-1 pitch to Manzanero. Swing and a foul, healthy cut. He's got 6 home runs this year for Dayton. The Dragons have the longest sellout streak in professional sports history, well over 1,000 consecutive sellouts at Fifth Third Field in Dayton. The 3-2. Swing and a miss, and another strikeout for Marinez. We will go to the 9th inning. Who's going to take home the victory in the Midwest League All-Star Game? We are 3-3 on My Michiana and WCIU. Jeff Passantino to the mound for the Eastern Division. Member of the Chicago Cubs organization, playing with the South Bend Cubs this year. Jeff Passantino, 5'10", 225, 23 years old, out of Coffeyville, Kansas. As we talked about earlier, pick number 1,215 in the 2017 Major League Baseball draft. He was the last player taken. 2018 Northwest League All-Star, and was named the most outstanding pitcher of the 2016 Cape Cod League. Now the ERA at 4.24 right now, but had one bad outing right before this All-Star game. Otherwise, he's been in the 2s all year, coming out of Buddy Bailey's bullpen. So Jeff Passantino to the mound in a 3-3 game in the top of the 9th inning. Looks like we will have a photo finish here tonight in the 55th Midwest League All-Star Game. Austin Dennis up first. Dennis is 1 for 3. And the River Bandit takes a strike from Passantino. He's got an excellent cutter that will tail away from right-handed batters, and he will get some ugly swings from righties. There it is. Popped up to the right, out of play. 0-2 to Dennis. Now Passantino will live in the mid to upper 80s, but has good movement on his pitches. Does a good job of locating. Loves to change the eye level of the batter. Shows a breaking ball down low. 1-2. Passantino, the 4th of 5 South Bend Cubs to participate in this game. Riley Thompson, Braylon Marquez have already pitched tonight. Andy Weber currently playing second base. Cam Sanders is the only Cub not to play. He's a pitcher. And Passantino gets a strikeout of Dennis, and that's how the 9th inning gets underway.
Take a look here.
Let's see if that was the good old cutter. And it was. Just enough movement. Back to the top of the order for the West. It is Jeremy Pena. He is 1 for 2 in the game. Has one of the 7 base hits for the West. First pitch a little low from Passantino to Pena. 3-3 ninth inning. The West with 2 in the 4th and 1 in the 8th. Line drive, right center. Diving effort, and the ball is caught. Bowling Green's Grant Witherspoon. A shoestring catch in right center field to take away a base hit from Pena. And that is the defensive play of the ball game. Looked like Pena was going to pick up his 2nd hit of the night, but Witherspoon had other ideas. A diving, tumbling catch by the hot rod. We have a pitching change. Great work by Passantino. He gets 2 outs here on the night. We'll tell you about the new pitcher next. This is the Midwest League All-Star Game on My Michigan and WCIU. You are looking at 3 members of the South Bend Cubs. In the background in the white shirt is catcher Eric Gonzalez. Waving his hands at the camera right now, 19-year-old third baseman Chris Morel. And to his right is starting pitcher Faustino Carrera. On the mound for the East, he has one of the best names in all of minor league baseball. It is Henry Henry. Henry Henry is from the Dominican Republic, signed by the Padres in 2015. 20 years old, 6'4", 210 pounds. He pitched in 7 games for the Tin Caps last year, had an 8.66 ERA, a 3.57 ERA so far this year with Fort Wayne. MLB.com has a lot of rankings. They list Henry Henry as the 4th best name in all of baseball. So Henry Henry will face Buddy Kennedy of the Kane County Cougars. So it is Padres prospect versus Diamondbacks prospect. An NL West showdown. We are 3-3 in the top of the 9th. The West has nobody on and 2 outs. And now time call by the first base umpire, Thomas Burrell, because a ball was loose from the West bullpen. Henry had just started his motion when time was called. Two years ago, Fort Wayne had a pretty good shortstop by the name of Fernando Tatis Jr., who has just vaulted so quickly through the Padres system, and now the starting shortstop in San Diego. The son of former major leaguer Fernando Tatis, who is known for hitting the 2 grand slams in the same inning at Dodger Stadium against Chano Park. Kennedy will pick up a double with 2 outs in the 9th inning as he goes the other way and dumps it into left center field. So Buddy Kennedy comes up with a 2-out base hit for the Western Division. Line drive, the left fielder coming over. And Holsizer unable to track it down. So Kennedy is 2 for 3 in this All-Star game. And now it's Trey Dawson batting. They play a little John Denver here for the West Virginia native. And the fans singing along with John Denver here in South Bend, Indiana. Henry's pitch, fastball strike at 93. Hurricane, West Virginia, the home of Trey Dawson. The South Bend Cubs a couple of years ago had a player from that hometown, catcher Tyler Payne. Runner at second base, 2 outs. Off speed and a swing and a miss by Dawson. He falls into an 0-2 hole.
If he strikes him out, we'll roll out with him.
Go ahead run at second base for the Western Division. Henry Henry versus Trey Dawson. The 6'4" right-hander is set. And here's the 0-2. Breaking ball swung on and missed. And Henry takes down Trey Dawson. A chance to walk off the All-Star game for the Eastern Division. We are tied at 3. This is coverage of the Midwest League All-Star game on My Michiana and WCIU in Chicago. One of the best seats in the house from her apartment at the Ivy at Berlin Place. One of the residents of our new apartments enjoying the Midwest League All-Star game. I'm Darren Pritchett. We are 3-3 in the bottom of the 9th inning. And another pitcher on the mound for the West. It is Alvaro Seijas, a member of the Peoria Chiefs and the St. Louis Cardinals organization. 6'1", 175, 20 years old, out of Venezuela, signed by the Redbirds in 2015. So Seijas will try to send us into a home run derby finish. No extra innings in this All-Star game. So the right-hander Seijas will face West Michigan's Ulrich Bojarski. He has played the entire game for the Eastern Division. He has a pair of sacrifice flies and a strikeout. Bojarski has 10 home runs this year. He is in line for a promotion probably pretty soon by the Tigers. He's hitting for average. He is hitting for power. Bojarski from Australia versus Seijas from Venezuela. Fastball at 93, low for ball 1, and the bottom of the 9th inning is underway. You talk about worlds colliding. In 2016, South Bend Cub fans had the great pleasure of watching Eloy Jimenez play, then a top Chicago Cubs prospect. When the Cubs needed a pitcher a couple of years ago, they traded Eloy and Dylan Cease to the White Sox for Jose Quintana. Well, Eloy always pictured himself playing at Wrigley Field as Bojarski fouls off a pitch 1-2. Well, he got his first chance tonight as a member of the White Sox. And what do you know, in the 9th inning of a 1-1 game, Jimenez has hit a 2-run home run off Pedro Strop. And the former Cub prospect has helped the White Sox to take a 3-1 lead over the Cubs. Cubs hitting in the bottom of the 9th. And there's a breaking ball and a swing and a miss by Bojarski. 1 out in the 9th inning. Here is Ryan Gold. Seijas showing a good sharp breaking ball. It tailed away from the right-handed batter from West Michigan. For Eloy Jimenez, home run number 12 this year and missed several weeks due to injury. Here is the left-handed hitting Gold. He's got 2 homers this year and fouls off the first pitch. That ball got a piece of the catcher, Salazar. Once again, we will have a home run derby if this game is tied after 9 innings. Last year, it was a 10th inning walk-off base hit by Dayton's Montrell Marshall to send the East to a 3-2 win over the West. Tonight, we are 3-3 in the bottom of the 9th. Seijas has Gold set up 0-2. There's an off-speed low, 1-2. And the South Bend Cubs, Andy Weber, is on deck. He'll have a chance to possibly win it in front of the hometown fans. But Seijas is a tough customer. He induces a ground ball to the second baseman. That's Delvin Perez, who throws to first and retires Gold, and it's up to the South Bend Cub. Has he got a walk-off home run in his back pocket? How appropriate, a South Bend Cub at the plate. 1 out to work with for the East. A 3-3 game in the bottom of the 9th inning. Maybe a little flair for the dramatics from the old Virginia Cavalier. He's got 2 home runs this year. First pitch, takes low. Fastball at 95. Weber hit a shot to straightaway center field at Cooley Law School Stadium in Lansing, a 3-run homer earlier this year for the first of his 2 long balls. Takes low again, 2-0. Tyler Freeman from Lake County on deck for the Eastern Division. J.B. Bakauskas, a top Astro prospect. Weber hit his first collegiate home run off him. Can he homer to win the All-Star game for the East? May not get the chance. Sejas misses again. It's 3-0, and he will get the green light from the South Bend Cubs hitting coach and former major leaguer Paul McAnulty. He played for the Padres and Angels. 3-0 pitch. Down low, ball 4. Winning run at first base, and here is Tyler Freeman. Freeman from the Lake County Captains and the Indians organization. He was the starting shortstop in the New York Penn League All-Star game last year. He led that league in average hits, doubles, and slugging. Hitting .292, he's hit 3 home runs this year. Freeman has a chance to win it for the East in the bottom of the 9th inning. First pitch, it's a breaky ball from Sejas, way outside, ball 1. Now Weber is 3 for 3 in stolen base attempts. He takes his lead, off first, a decent lead. And the next pitch, low again. Sejas has missed with 6 consecutive deliveries. He will be looking for fastball in his wheelhouse. Number 3 prospect in the Indian system, Tyler Freeman. Fastball hit to third. Backing up, playing the ball is Dawson. Throws to first, out recorded. And we are 3-3 after 9 innings. We'll explain what's next in just a moment. This is the Midwest League All-Star Game on My Michiana and WCIU. Darren Pritchett back at Four Winds Field. Home run derby to decide the winner of the Midwest League All-Star Game. Each manager will pick one player to swing for the team. Each player will have 90 seconds to hit as many home runs as possible. On your screen right there is the hitter for the West. It is going to be Blaze Alexander of the Kane County Cougars. And for the Eastern Division, the home run derby champion from last night, Bowling Green's, Chris Betts. You can see Eric Almonte, the manager of the West, having some fun with the East coaches, saying, "You're really going to use him, the home run derby champion?" Paul McAnulty says, "You betcha I am." So Alexander will hit for the West and Betts for the East. So they have put up the bullpen pitching mound and a screen just a few feet from home plate. Now, I'm not sure who's going to be the person that's going to throw the pitches, but we're about to find out. This is the first time we have gone this route in the Midwest League All-Star Game. So Blaze Alexander, 6 foot, 160, 11th round pick of the Diamondbacks in 2018. He will hit for the West. Alexander has 4 home runs and 137 at-bats this year. He has 9 professional home runs. Chris Betts will hit for Bowling Green. 12 home runs so far this year for the Bowling Green backstop. All right, so there is the guy that's going to throw for the Western Division. All right, so home plate umpire Ben Rosen will be the home run judge. So Alexander will do the swinging for the Western Division. He will try to hit as many home runs as possible in 90 seconds. But first, he's got to get the donut off the bat. Now he's ready to go. Alexander, 9 professional home runs. He's got the batting gloves ready. Maple bat in hand. New supply of baseballs have been brought to the middle of the field, and here we go with Home Run Derby to decide the winner of the Midwest League All-Star Game. Blaze Alexander timing up our pitcher. So the 20-year-old from Cape Coral, Florida, representing the West in Home Run Derby. How about our brave camera crew right behind home plate? So here we go, Home Run Derby to decide the 55th Midwest League All-Star Game, and it's Kane County's Blaze Alexander swinging for the West. So 90 seconds on the clock. Right-handed batter with a closed stance. We've got the clock on the screen. We're ready for everything. And we're underway, and look at this. First pitch swinging, drive to left field. That ball is no home run signal. Very close to the yellow line. Alexander asking for the ball to be thrown a little lower in the zone. He hammers one to left center where it's 360 feet, and the ball comes up short. Right now, Alexander hitting very nice line drives, but he can't get one out of the yard. Down to 58 seconds left. The first one was close to the yellow line. We'll have to see if they counted that or not. 45 seconds left. There's a towering fly ball, but I think that ball's going to come up short, and it does. There's a towering drive toward left, and again just short. Alexander running out of time against last night's Home Run Derby champion. 25 seconds left for the Kane County Cougar. Down to 15 seconds left, and he's going to call a timeout. Again, we'll have to check to see if that first ball is ruled a home run or not. I don't know if anybody in our production room has the answer, but Alexander either has, okay, they ruled it that the ball hit the fence, so no home run on that first swing, so Alexander without a long ball so far. He's got 12 seconds left. The timeout is over, and here we go. We start the clock. There's a long drive down the left field line. Fair or foul, that ball is fair. Home run for Alexander, his first. Tries to hit a second to deep left center field. That ball will come up short. His final swing is heading toward the home run porch, and it comes up short. One home run for Blaze Alexander representing the Western Division. And now the home run champion from last night, who hit 24 in 3 rounds, can win it for the East. The Bowling Green catcher. Betts, 12 home runs this year and 212 at-bats. He has 22 home runs in his minor league career in 593 at-bats. A left-handed batter, and South Bend Cubs assistant coach Pedro Gonzalez will throw the pitches for Betts. 1 to tie, and 2 to send the East to the win column. So here we go. Bowling Green's Chris Betts. 1:30 on the clock. Again, he hit one completely over the Performance Center and right last night. And away we go. Pedro Gonzalez of the South Bend Cubs throwing the pitches. Couple of foul balls by Betts. The pitcher and batter separated maybe by 30, 35 feet. High fly ball to center. That will not have the distance. There's a drive. Deep right center field. Look out, video board. We have a tie. This could win it. Line drive right field. That will not have the distance. The next to Betts. Swinging a pop-up. We're 1-1 with 53 seconds left.
No home run. That was no home run. There are no home runs.
Okay, the home run that I thought was a home run actually came up short, so he has 0. So it is still 1-0 in favor of Alexander. And Betts is going to take a timeout. I thought for sure that one went over the wall, but apparently not the case. Now, everybody is asking. Now, they're saying there's a home run for Betts on the field.
They're saying that umpire waved his hands on that.
Okay, so Ben Rosen said 1. Other members of our staff says it was not a home run, so now we're going to have a discussion. So we need to get this sorted out before we move on, and we are having a big-time meeting amongst all the players, the umpires, and Nick Brown. Here's a look at the replay. Oh, that went over the fence, didn't it? Can we see that one more time? All it has to do is go over the yellow line.
The umpires say no.
Wow. So away we go. I guess it is 1-0 West. Long drive, right field. Does that have the distance? It does. Now we're tied at 1. 23 seconds left. Long drive, right center field. Adios! And there is the bat whip out into right field. The celebration is on. And the Eastern Division has won the Midwest League All-Star Game with a home run derby extra innings victory. The game-winning home run by Bowling Green's Chris Betts.
We're staying here for everything. We're staying here for everything.
It came down to the wire, but Chris Betts got it done with 2 home runs late, and he defeats Blaze Alexander of Kane County 2-1. So Betts won $1,000, taking home the Home Run Derby Championship last night. And the night here at the Midwest League All-Star Game concludes with a Gatorade bath after hitting 2 home runs in our extra innings Home Run Derby. So the second consecutive year that the East wins in extra innings. This time, though, with Home Run Derby. Congratulations to Chris Betts and the Eastern Division. I guess this is kind of like a shootout in hockey. We'll add on a run for the East, and they win 4-3. I'll make up the rules as we go. We're going to have a presentation down on the field.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the area behind home plate for a special presentation. Bush's Beans are the official beans of minor league baseball, and we are pleased to be joined tonight by Midwest League President Dick Nussbaum, Chairman Matt Wiesaw, and minor league baseball President Pat O'Connor as they present the 2019 Midwest League Bush's All-Star MVP Award.
Congratulations to Chris Betts of the Bowling Green Hot Rods. He hits the Home Run Derby game winner. Quite a week for Betts here in South Bend. He takes home the $1,000 for winning Home Run Derby last night and is the MVP of the 55th Midwest League All-Star Game. The Eastern Division now getting together. Looks like a picture is going to be taken.
Tonight's MVP, the Midwest League All-Star Game. Quite a couple of nights for you. How'd this one stack up compared to last night?
It was good. I finally got some fastballs up there. No, it was fun. It was a really good time. These guys put on a great event, and no better way to end it than a big old Gatorade shower.
A little bit of controversy there in the middle of the Home Run Derby. Did the first one actually get out?
I don't care. The 2 more got out, so we beat them by 2 now.
Just talk about this week with South Bend, them hosting this event. I know you mentioned how they put on a great show. What about this week was so special for you individually?
I think everything from when we rolled in, it's been really cool. From the hotel to the concert to the game to the home run derby, it's been awesome. It's been really good.
Congratulations on your MVP.
Thank you so much.
Chris Betts, the Midwest League MVP here at the All-Star Game.
All right, very good. Connor Onion with the interview with Chris Betts. Well, what a night at the Midwest League All-Star Game. It all started with Eric Holcomb, the governor of Indiana, Baseball Hall of Famer Ryan Sandberg throwing out the first pitch. Best players on display in the Midwest League. We had a 3-3 game going into our home run derby in extra innings, and Chris Betts wins that derby 2-1. Congratulations to the Eastern Division for the victory. We thank you for joining us for the 55th Midwest League All-Star Game. Great presentation by the city of South Bend. My name is Darren Pritchett saying good night from Four Winds Field in downtown South Bend, Indiana.